night and day. For next to nothing pay, so they can't see their way. We don't enjoy equal facility. Like Pharaoh and company, brainwashing we say we free. We just can't go this way. We just can't go this way. Please deliver us today. We just can't go this way. Time to make them oppress us pay. We just can't go this way. So the children could see their way. We just can't go this way. Suffer like this. You said that you would take care of the poor, just like you did in Egypt. When Pharaoh had the Israelites in bondage, you delivered them. But here again, we are in the same khaki van. We have those modern Pharaohs who oppress the poor, who represents Israel. They confuse us with so much lies. Not even thinking that we will realize. And if we criticize, we could be ostracized. We don't know who to trust. That's why I say, Lord, please listen to this prayer that comes from the poor. Another Moses again. Oh, we just can't go this way. Please deliver us today. Time to make them oppress us pay. So the children could see their way. Make them get on their knees and pray.
Say you get up one morning, your elders have something. You don't know how they get it, but you want to use it. But if you ask them old people to get the things what they went through, ask them this any day. and your parents sure to say, black man have to keep on jamming. For black man to get a little something. Make up your mind, brother, that you're able to get a pulley and jam with the devil. Why? Black man have to keep on jamming. For black man to get a little something. Make up your mind, brother, that you're ready to swim offshore and hold your boat steady. Black man have to keep on jamming. For black man to get a little something. So when you're here, you get a little something. With a dragon eye, you keep watching, because I don't tell you already. Black man do get nothing easy. I say you get up one morning, and oil money running. How it come you don't know, so that it can how the thing go. But if they read about Uriah, they wanna find out the pressure. How we get so much old hell to get a penny from TLL. Black man have to keep on jamming. For black man to get a little something. You got to take up your own cash money, pay people for your own refinery. Black man have to keep on jamming. For black man to get a little something. Make up your mind to be a magician, to make money out of scrap iron. Black man have to keep on jamming. For black man to get a little something. So when you're here, you get a little something. With the eagle eye, you keep watching, because I don't tell you already. Black man don't get nothing easy. We got up one morning, independence happening, getting the thing come easy. Now they're taking liberty, but if they know about petition, we are to send to England for some woman to tell we in this colony free. Black man have to keep on jamming. For black man to get a little something, you got to go to conference in England to get independence in your own land. Black man have to keep on jamming. For black man to get a little something. People hold you, humiliate you, turn on and sell you, and then they free you. Black man have to keep on jamming. For black man to get a little something. So when you're here, you get a little something. With that dragon eye, you keep watching, because I don't tell you already. Black man don't get nothing easy. So when a black man gets something, he got to start thinking. You get it there easy. You got to practice economy. From getting licks from the slave master to become the landowner. Brother, it's a terrible journey, back with plenty brutality. Black man have to keep on jamming. For black man to get a little something, you got to rise up, you got to stand up. Pick up your mind, you will always stay on top. Black man have to keep on jamming. For black man to get a little something, you got to go to conference in England to get independence in your own land. Black man have to keep on jamming. For black man to get a little something, you got to take up your own cash money, pay people for your own refinery. Black man have to keep on jamming. For black man to get a little something. Make up your mind to be a magician, to make money out of scrap iron. Black man have to keep on jamming. For black man to get a little something, you got to go to conference in England to get independence in your own land.
There is no shame in asking about a recovery.
Is the eagle. There are only two animals on the planet that the Creator identified himself with. The first one is the eagle. The eagle. And the second animal is the lion. And when I identified those two animals as his favorite to identify himself with, I recognized I better study these two animals, because if he is the leader of the universe and I want to be a leader on earth, I better find out the nature of these animals and also the attitude of these animals. And I discovered that both of them are the kings of their domain. The eagle is the king of the bird kingdom, and the lion is the king of the animal kingdom. But let's talk a little bit about the lion. The lion has what I call the spirit of leadership. And this word spirit here is referring to attitude. Everybody say attitude. A leader has an attitude that makes him or her different from followers. Now, the lion is the king of the jungle, but the lion to me is a great source of encouragement to all of us. I want you to write this down. Remember this as long as you live. Number one, the lion is not the tallest animal in the jungle. Number two, the lion is not the largest animal in the jungle. Number three, the lion is not the heaviest animal in the jungle. Number four, the lion is not the smartest animal or the most intelligent animal in the jungle. And yet, when he shows up, they all run away. Well, here's one of my favorite quotes that I put in my books, and I believe it really brings home the point. An army of sheep led by a lion will always defeat an army of lions led by a sheep. And the answers to that dilemma is this: because leadership can transform cowards into violent warriors. The right kind of leadership can transform a timid into bold people who are fearless. Leadership is that powerful. Leadership can walk into a camp of depressed people, and in 20 minutes they have turned on into unbelievable, powerful armies, because leadership determines everything. The lion is the king of the jungle because of one word: attitude. Everybody say attitude. Write it down. Attitude. The lion has a different attitude that makes every animal afraid of him. Now, we don't want to lead by fear, but it does take respect for you to become a leader. When I use the word fear in the jungle, we're talking about respect. The elephant respects the lion. The hyenas respect the lion. The giraffes, they respect the lion. What makes these massive animals respect such a small cat? The attitude is the difference. For example, a lion will see an elephant, and the thing that comes to his mind, one word: lunch. I could eat this thing. And he acts the way he thinks. Now, here's another amazing mystery. The elephant is larger, bigger, stronger, more powerful, heavier, and more intelligent. And yet, when the elephant sees the lion, one word comes to mind: it is a product of belief. You cannot have an attitude beyond your belief.
Keep me as the apple of thine eye. Hide me under the shadow of thy wing. O Lord, my Savior. It's so hard to deal with personal struggle. So sad when you feel alone in your trouble. It's real hard when you want to talk to bad because of how some look at you after. So Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Cover my head. Satan want me dead. Cover my back from human attack. So Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. People see you smile, but don't know the hurt that you're feeling. Even as God's child, at times your heart does be bleeding. Where can you go when you're really looking for healing? Who know how to flow when your soul needs some restoring? So Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Cover me home from evils unknown. Cover my feet so I'll never retreat. Oh Lord, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Cover my brother, cover my sister, them who under pressure. Cover the preacher, every church worker, the young believer. Cover the worship leader and intercessor, every gospel minister. Cover. Jesus alone is the one who has the real answer. The one on the throne is the true and loving Father. He will hold your hand and keep you from going under. He will make you stand and let you know he's a fixer. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Cover my mind. You know the struggle sometimes. Cover my mouth, that the wrong thing wouldn't come out. Oh Lord, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover the Christian in the midst of aggression with the power of your right hand. Jesus, cover them helpless children. Jesus, defend them. Send help from heaven. Jesus, cover all them radio stations that blessing the nation. Grant divine protection. Jesus, cover me. Cover me. Cover me. Cover me.
Go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even the dull and ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexations to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain and bitter, for always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself.
You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here, and whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should.
Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career. However humble, it is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself. Especially do not feign affection. Neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive Him to be, and whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life. Keep peace with your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be careful. Strive to be happy.
You are a sign of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. You are a sign of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. You are a sign of the universe.
Truer words were never spoken. The less you associate with some people, the more your life will improve. Anytime you tolerate mediocrity in others, it increases your mediocrity. An important attribute in successful people is their impatience with negative thinking and negative acting people. As you grow, your associates will change. Some of your friends will not want you to go on. They will want you to stay where they are. Friends that don't help you climb will want you to crawl. Your friends will stretch your vision or choke your dream. Those that don't increase you will eventually decrease you. Consider this. Never receive counsel from unproductive people. Never discuss your problems with someone incapable of contributing to the solution, because those who never succeed themselves are always first to tell you how. Not everyone has a right to speak into your life. You are certain to get the worst of the bargain when you exchange ideas with the wrong person. Don't follow anyone who's not going anywhere. With some people you spend an evening. With others, you invest it. Be careful where you stop to inquire for directions along the road of life. Wise is the person who fortifies his life with the right friendships. If you run with wolves, you will learn how to howl. But if you associate with eagles, you will learn how to soar to great heights. A mirror reflects a man's face, but what he is really like is shown by the kind of friends he chooses. The simple but true fact of life is that you become like those with whom you closely associate, for the good and the bad. Note, be not mistaken. This is applicable to family as well as friends. Yes, do love, appreciate, and be thankful for your family, for they will always be your family, no matter what. Just know that they are human first, and though they are family to you, they may be a friend to someone else and will fit somewhere in the criteria above. In prosperity, our friends know us. In adversity, we know our friends. Never make someone a priority when you are only an option for them. If you are going to achieve excellence in big things, you develop the habit in little matters. Excellence is not an exception. It is a prevailing attitude.
Yes, 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 yes. Let me say a special hello to all the WZYE 95.9 FM listeners. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, it's in the village with Uncle Tommy and Professor Ward Street on WZYE 95.9 FM. And of course, we come to you every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 7 to 10 p.m. TNT time and 6 to 9 p.m. USA time. You know how we say it here, ladies in the village? Doesn't matter what color t-shirt you wear. You wear a pink t-shirt, a mauve t-shirt, a burgundy t-shirt. Each and everyone is welcome in the village with yours truly, Professor Wallstead and Uncle Tommy. Doesn't matter what planet you're from. You're from Mazatanias, Venerianias, Sunaranias. Each and everyone is welcome in the village on WZYE 95.9 FM. And this is how we start the thing, ladies.
It have our place, WZYE, where they treat you like friends and family. So if you're looking for a place to belong, going WZYE, you could come along. If you have haste, do come with me. We do have dad on WZYE, Santa Medite.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. And that's a resident of WZYE 95.9 FM, the man himself, the man who we call Dr. Love. Yes, yes, we have a Dr. Love right here in the village on WZYE 95.9 FM. Let me bring in my partner, the man himself, the one and only one, the man commonly known as Uncle Tommy. Tommy, where you going?
Good evening, my friend. How are you today?
I can't complain, Tommy.
Did
Today,
you run today? Did you run?
no, today was my day off, you know.
Okay.
But as you said that yesterday, Tommy boy, I went into a place I haven't gone a long time, boy. Yesterday I did 6 miles
Whoa.
in 45 minutes.
Wow.
But I sleep like a baby last night, boy. I ain't
I
gonna
can
lie.
imagine. I can just imagine.
Yeah, I slept like a baby last night, boy. Baby sleep, boy. I don't even know if I snore, Tommy. I should tell you. You know,
That means you did
sometimes you
snow.
snore, you say you're snoring, right?
That means you did snow.
Boy, it was really, really, really something. As a matter of fact, I decided that once out of the week, I'm gonna do a 6 mile run.
Okay.
That run yesterday motivated me to add one 6 mile run every week. You know, so I mean, when you're trying to get somewhere,
Make
you
it
have to.
sacrifice.
So I call my good friend who is 85 years old, and I asked him. His name is Sid. I said, Sid, you think I should train back to back or train every other day? He said, LeBron, you ain't no 35 no more. But I don't think like that. You know what I mean? He said, the best thing to do is to train every other day and give your body 24 hours to
Rest.
rest and recuperate and recover.
Makes good sense.
And you know what? It makes sense. And as a matter of fact, Tommy, I remember a few years ago, he said to me, he said, LeBron, 20 times in this world, you were the first one to do something. I said, what do you mean? I don't understand what do you mean. He said, you have established 20 world records. And on those 20 occasions, you were the first one to do whatever you did in order to establish that world record. I said, you know what? I never looked at it from that perspective. But it makes a lot of sense.
True.
So there you have it. That is my good pal, my 85-year-old friend. And Tommy, I met him, well, not met him, but 25 years ago. I went to my first World Masters Championship in Gateshead, England. And we were roommates 25 years ago. And from that, now he's a vegan. I'm a vegan. I don't think he was
Where's he
vegetarian
originally
back
from?
vegetarian. Now he's a
He's a
vegan.
he's
And
a
I'm,
Caribbean man.
huh?
He's a Caribbean man too.
He have family in Bermuda, but he's American.
Okay.
So the first one in tonight was my
Bizram.
good friend from Fishing Pond,
Yeah.
Sandy Gandhi, the man himself, Bizram. Yeah,
Good night, Bizram. How are you? How's
right?
fishing pond tonight?
Yep. And then, oh God, Tobago comes second, boy. Renwick,
Mr. Job.
yeah. Second. Then
Caribbean
Caribbean
Soul.
Soul was third.
Third.
Mhm. Yeah. He said the lioness and me, he goes, the long thing is
There was video.
Wall Street. Remember you did say you agree with the person on TC and Heavy show when they talk about property tax, what Rowley said. That was me. I did send that voice note. Okay. I didn't even know who that was, tell you the truth.
Next we have
Video
video.
from Orange, boy. Video welcome. Video locked on in Orange, boy.
Good night, video. Or should I say good evening?
Yeah,
we say in the
Caribbean Soul.
US.
Sorry, Tommy.
Go ahead.
Caribbean Soul said it doesn't make sense. Rowley talk about a small house will look more beautiful for renting. That's why he's hired on a bigger house. But the only reason person will choose a smaller house is because the rent will be lower. Tommy, well, boy, let me before
That's
we get
a ball of confusion.
Tommy, boy, I don't know what else to say, man. Seriously, I listen to. First of all, I listen to my friend. I call him my friend. I don't know if he. I don't know if. Yeah, I think he's my friend. The pastor with the internet search engine name, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what that is?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a partner. And I listened to. You remember I played the video on Tuesday with respect to the pension and property tax, right? Did I play that video?
I don't remember you playing that video.
Okay, let me see this. Oh, all right. So maybe I did not play. We didn't get time to play. Anyway, hold on. Told me there is so much to play. Okay, let me play that one for you. This was a pensioner who had called the radio station, called the pastor with the internet search engine name, and was talking about property tax. Take a listen. Oh, I know what happened. He had called TC and Heavy show, and he was telling the people that he had to pay $440 a month in property tax. And he don't have a problem paying the property tax. Right? Let's listen for him. Let's listen.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hi, morning.
Hello, morning. Pastor Gogo.
Yes, sir.
First time calling to your program.
Thank you very much for calling.
That caller from America who called and criticizing the person who called and said that he's a pensioner and he has to pay $5,000. I am the person who's speaking to you right now.
Okay.
What happening? I am not complaining about the property tax, you know.
Okay.
What I am complaining about is the value of my property.
Right.
No way I could get 60.
Tommy, first of all, I'm not complaining about the property tax. I'm complaining about the value. Can you help me there, Tommy? We're gonna go back and finish. Can you help me there?
It is not logical. It does not compute.
Also, So I didn't miss anything.
It does not compute because you're not complaining about the property tax. You're complaining about the value of your property. So what does the value have to do with what is it concerning? What's the value concern? What concerns the value? It does not compute.
Okay, all right. So let's listen. Let's take a listen.
Good morning.
Listen to-
Hello.
Hi, morning.
Hello, morning. Pastor Gogo,
Yes, sir.
first time calling to your program.
Thank you very much for calling.
That caller from America who called and criticizing the person who called and said that he's a pensioner and he has to pay $5,000. I am the person who's speaking to you right now.
Okay.
What happening? I am not complaining about the property tax, you know.
Okay.
What I am complaining about is the value of my property.
Right.
No way I could get $16,000 a month for my property if I have to rent it. And that is what it work out to.
Okay.
So they overvalue
Right.
the rental value on my property. They did not come and assess anything to say, well, I come in the area and I see you're not getting, the fire truck can't come in if I have my house on fire. The garbage truck not coming in. So I know my property is overvalued. If they come and assess the property, they could never reach that. I fill out a form, and what they ask me in the form is what I write down.
Okay.
And when I get that, I was very, very surprised because I tried to comply with the law.
Okay.
So much people didn't fill out the form. I fill it out because I want to pay my taxes.
Right.
So I don't understand how it could reach there because I sure I could never get more than about 8,000, 7,500 for my property if I have to rent it.
Okay.
But it valued to be 16,000 and something dollars a month. No way that could happen. No way. I'm not going to get that. So that is my problem. So when he talking about he don't sorry for who and who he don't sorry for, that his business. If he have a beef with the PNM, that his business. Don't jump in me for what I asked. So I know what I did, and I know my property not value 16,000 and change a month. I know that. So that is my complaint.
So can I?
Okay.
Caller, before you go.
Hello.
Yeah, you
Hello.
hearing me? You hear me,
Yeah.
caller? All right. So
Was that you who called?
Yeah, it was me. And Tommy, the time for them to question the I'm not saying you cannot question it now, Tommy. But the toothpaste is already out of the tube. You can't put it back in. Tommy, how many times we came to this program and tell the people about the regressive and oppressive property tax?
Time and time again. From the beginning, we have said that it makes no good sense what they're doing. But
it makes absolutely no sense. And I told them, right? So all of a sudden now, and there was another pensioner who called, and she called this program too. Right? And she was paying $192 a month. And she was like, no problem. What's the big problem? It's only $192. And I said, I have no sympathy for them. Because they want to defend their party so much. They wouldn't talk prior, Is when they get property tax in the person, now they want to talk. Now they're upset. My property not worth that. My property not worth no $16,000 rental value a month.
But with a big but.
Okay.
He has a big but in the way.
Tell me what is the but?
But he have no problem with property tax.
Correct is right.
You have no problem paying the tax. But my property is not worth 16,000 a month.
Tommy boy, all we trying to do is to help the people, you know.
They don't want to be helped.
Go, Tommy, don't
It-
be.
no, we have to be. We have to face it. They don't want to be helped. That's why they can be SCREWED.
Tommy, I want to believe that. Tommy, maybe I have to agree with you, boy, because I don't know. I don't know.
They don't need our help. They don't need us. They don't care to hear what we have to say. For all they care, we can go straight to hell.
Whoa.
That's their attitude. That's their attitude. They don't need our help. They don't want to hear what we have to say. They don't care about what we have to say. What we say, we are dumb. We don't know what we're talking about. We have to face it. Trying to help them.
And Tommy, that's exactly what I said. I said, you know what? All you take it. You understand? Because all you put down there, and you know what? They're waiting to see the train already left the station, you know. They didn't even fight for the 3% property tax. They didn't fight for that, you know. Right? They didn't fight for that. Who put up a fight? Who put up a fight? It was only them people in Federation Park came out and talk about it. The only talk they're talking now is after they receive their assessment and the monthly tax. Yeah? Look, I don't know when Trinbagonians go work up, you know. Yeah? Patricia, welcome. A pleasant evening, Professor Wall Street and Uncle Tommy. And everyone locked in? Yeah. Yeah? Laugh out loud. You call her back in his PNM, but complaining about how much his tax came up. Yeah? Tommy, oh God.
If there's such a word, sycophantism seems to be all over it.
Unbelievable. Daryl's super sad welcome. But Tommy, there is more, you know. I want you to listen to the Prime Minister now. Listen to the Prime Minister. A person asked the Prime Minister a question. Well, they didn't ask the Prime Minister a question. They made a statement. And listen how the Prime Minister answered the question such statement. Take a listen to this.
Prime Minister, you just said it, that you've led a government which has not refused to take hard decisions, as unpopular as they are. I don't intend to ask any question, but rather to make a suggestion. In the last week, I have been exposed to 5 persons who have gotten the land and housing tax. 2 of them are my neighbors. I haven't gotten mine yet. And what is rather strange is that the one with the smaller house, with the lesser land, has been assessed at a way higher figure than the older house with the greater amount of land, which is in a better condition. My recommendation, sir, is that...
You know, Tommy, I want to play a different video because the other video give us a little more, make us delve into the mindset of Prime Minister Rowley.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. But I already know what his mindset is.
Yeah. I want to go a little deeper, just into the mindset of how you as a Prime Minister, the way you're supposed to, you know, your kind of thought process, Tommy. You know, and it just baffles the mind that, hold on.
You know, nothing surprises me when it comes to a bullying attitude. Bullying should be labeled a crime, and in that event, he wouldn't be a prime minister; he'd be a crime minister.
Oh God! Let's take a listen, Tommy. Hold on, let's take a listen. I wanted to play this one instead.
My name is Dr. Anthony Elias. And I quickly look around and see some of your ministers looking to figure out what I'm going to be telling you. Mr. Prime Minister, my schoolmate Derek preceded me. And I was very happy when he talked about you having, basically, using my words, that you're having a long life to continue what you're doing. I would wish you the same, Mr. Prime Minister. And I would openly say, where you have...
So that is the condition under which I'll have this long life?
Sorry?
I don't accept the terms, eh?
Okay.
I will accept the wish of a long life, but I don't accept the terms under which you're offering it.
Okay, Mr. Prime Minister, you just said it, that you've led a government which has not been able, which has not refused to take hard decisions, as unpopular as they are. I don't intend to ask any question, but rather to make a suggestion. In the last week, I have been exposed to 5 persons who have gotten the land and housing tax. 2 of them are my neighbors. I haven't gotten mine yet. And what is rather strange is that the one with the smaller house, with the lesser land, has been assessed at a way higher figure than the older house with the greater amount of land, which is in a better condition. My recommendation, sir, is that I would hate to think, and I'm very open about it, that this land tax can cause a possibility that your government may be voted out of power. And I would really, really not have to live with what is out there for me as compared to what I have right now. So my recommendation is, there must have been so far, or there will be a lot of people objecting. My suggestion is, rather than invoke the entire tax, maybe we should start at 50%. Those who object and those who are sorted out with an incremental increase of maybe 10% every year, because it's going to be easier for people to work with that, rather than having to face this brunt one time. In a sense, it was done with gasoline, with fuel. While the rises were a little steep, they were graded in. And you don't have to convince me why you have to put in the tax. I understand, I accept it. I think most people do. But unfortunately, to suddenly have to find yourself paying 6, 7, 8, 9,000, people are not comfortable. So it's just a recommendation that I'd like to make to you to consider.
Thank you very much for your recommendation. People of Trinidad and Tobago, I speak to you as an office holder, as a citizen. And all I will ask of you, before you get your anger boiled up, your choice of where you'll put your finger election day and so on, before you do that, let us agree that we would look at it like other things with a certain amount of fact, a certain amount of reason, and a certain amount of self-interest. The removal of land and building taxes. This has been going on for how many years, Minister of Finance? Since 2009. Right? It is 15 years that a tax that you were required to pay that is on the law books, you have not been asked to pay it. 15 years. I have not heard one person compute how much you have saved and not paid for 15 years. To come to what is required now to begin to collect the tax, we have gone through a number of computations.
So, Tommy, my question is this, right? Whose fault it is why the government didn't impose the property tax when they were supposed to?
The homeowners and the landowners and the business owners' fault.
Oh, right? You know, this is hypocrisy at its finest.
You know, and what's really frightening about this whole thing?
Yeah.
People are clapping.
But they're clapping.
They clap. They're not even thinking.
They're not thinking.
They don't even think. Nobody has a mind of their own. They just lap up what he says and clap as though they were wrong for, and it's their fault for 15 years.
He's blaming the people for them not having a tax for 15 years.
That's what he's doing technically.
Yeah, of course he's blaming the people. He's blaming the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. People, all you haven't had a tax for 15 years.
Look how much money you have saved.
How much money you have saved?
Compute how much money you have saved.
So what it is, if we bust tax on all you know, property tax.
That's the implication.
And not only that, but it's one of the highest in the Caribbean.
You see,
all you're worrying about, all you save plenty money already. All you shouldn't be complaining.
He and his operatives know for sure what they're working with. They know that nobody thinks for themselves.
And not only that, Tommy, but they lied to the people of Trinidad and Tobago and tell them it was 2.7%. And he himself now going to tell you it was 3%.
And they lap it up.
And they lap it up. And you remember they were coming here and telling we tried to mislead the people by saying it's 2.7%. Let me continue.
It's 3%. We mislead them by saying it's 3%.
Right. Correct. We mislead them by saying it's 3%. Yeah, we mislead them. They mislead us. All they want to do is mislead the people. Let's continue.
To get to a point where we've said that we will levy a tax that is affordable.
Tommy?
Affordable.
What 3%. Formula did they work out to know that 3% was affordable? What was the formula? Which countries did they go to and make a comparison? Make a comparison.
Well,
go to the Caribbean islands. Look at all them countries. Stay in the Caribbean. Just stay in the Caribbean.
Well, basically, what he preceded this conversation with puts things in perspective. For 15 years, you didn't pay.
Yeah.
So now for 15 years, you will take 3% in your portion. That would be good for the 15 years you didn't pay.
Because all you paid for 15 years.
So 3% is adequate because you didn't pay for 15 years. And it's your fault you didn't pay for 15 years.
And not only that, Tommy, but out of the 15 years, 9 of those years they've been in power.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
9 of them years, you was the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. And you go come now in year 15 and tell the people, well, all of them pay for 15 years. Why it is now you come and give all your tax and all your portion?
Well, you could say 10 years because from 2009 to 2010, it was the red that had power.
No, I understand that, but I just leaving out. I only take it from 2015.
Okay.
Yeah. Under him, because he making these statements. And you see, Tommy, the thing about this, people don't like these facts, you know. You know what the first thing going to say? What shouldn't hate Prime Minister Rowley?
It's not no hate. We just want things to go right.
And it's not only that, Tommy, but these are facts. These are not fiction, you know. Or these are not FAX. These are FACTS.
Correct, is right.
Let's continue.
Yes, it is difficult to go to every single house and do a valuation. In most cases, the two houses you mentioned, one.
Yeah, Bishop, go ahead.
Hello, good night.
Good night.
Hello.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, we hearing you.
Yes, go ahead, Bishop.
Yeah, good night. Yeah, what? And the same Prime Minister say no to property tax. You remember he said that he already dealt with that?
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, he said that.
That's right.
You remember that?
Yes, he said
that's
that.
Correct.
Hello?
Yes,
correct. Yes, you're on point. You know what you're saying.
Remember the Prime Minister say he'd already dealt with the property tax? Was it election time?
Yes.
That's correct.
You remember that?
Yeah, that's
correct.
And now you want to bring property tax.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yep.
I mean, well,
He said he already dealt with that.
That's his words.
What do you mean there is?
well, all you get.
You didn't watch the video?
Yeah,
Eh?
all you got sabbatical for 15 years.
15 years.
15 years.
15
Yeah,
years.
but you see the fool and then clapping.
What do you mean?
The
Like,
pillars are good. Oh God! All right.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Alrighty.
All right, let's see if we could finish just before we get off.
Might be small, one might be big, one plot might be bigger than the other. But the formula is based on the rentable value.
Tommy, help me here. One house bigger, one house smaller, right? So
Right.
the smaller house have
The
more rent.
higher rentable value.
Tommy, make it make sense now, boy. What is this, boy?
And I'm sure that he clearly understood what the person who was making the statement was saying. I'm sure he clearly understood what he said. But he's still trying to pull the wool over everybody else's eyes right there in front of their very faces, right there, who just heard what was said.
Let's continue.
So the bigger house may not be able to command as attractive a rent as a prettier, nicer, cleaner, smaller house. But in the same neighborhood, they should be in the same ballpark, if not identical. And that's why the role would be a public document and that adjustments could be made. And I will tell you, provision in the law is there for if a person genuinely believes that the valuation, that rentable value is out of whack, that you can go make a complaint to the tribunal, but it's in a system of comply and complain. Because if we say complain and don't pay, then everybody will not play and complain. But if it's a system of comply and complain, you pay it, you're complaining, the tribunal will look at it. And if the tribunal reviews it, then you get a credit towards the next year's tax. That's the system. I am not one to believe that it is the best thing to ask people to pay tax. But the way this tax is being held up as a burden, I think it is a little overdone. Especially if after 15 years, you have been given that break. And when you had said to me, well, now is not the right time, I know what that means. It will never be the right time. Never. And if in fact there are situations where the system has generated extraordinary burdens, there's provision there for that to be looked at in a proper way and to be adjusted in the most reasonable way by the authority which is appointed by the president. So we're not acting vice. And many people are still mistaking the valuation as the tax. The valuation figure that you'd be given there in thousands, that is the rentable valuation. The tax is 3% of that. And those tax calls are now going out. Starting when? Last Friday. So the actual tax that is required to be paid, given that all the complaints you've been hearing, those would have been complaints about the valuation. Before this attempt to collect at 3%, London building taxes was 7.5%. We don't have time now to go into it because we've gone over it 100 times, but there are some people in our society who are deliberately misrepresenting it. Before, the full value at 7.5% was the tax. We are now saying 3%. of the rentable value. So I know nobody likes to pay tax, but if that is the basis on which we will change the government and put it in the hands of other people who will wreck and ruin the country, let it be said that it will have been done with your eyes wide open.
No, before it was 7%. 7% of what? No, your audio is not up.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know why them fellas believe or they know that they easily mislead people, you know.
Before it was
They know
7%.
that it was 7%. But Tommy, what was the comparison for Trinidad and Tobago coming up with 3% of property tax? Who did they compare that number to? Who?
No,
Well, let me go for
15 years you didn't play.
You got to make it up.
15 years you
Gotta
didn't play,
make
so
it
you gotta make it up. But I want to know
make
7%
it up.
of what? I want to know 7% of what? Who believes that? Who would believe that 7% of the rentable value was what they're paying before? Nobody in hell.
Yeah, well, them feel that. Them feel that people go believe it.
Them
Understand?
just
Because
he just throw anything out there, say any old thing, and people believe it and lap it all up. Who the hell was paying 7% of what? What is it? Everybody who were paying taxes before has now gone beyond, and there's a new batch of taxpayers.
let's go for a quick break. Yeah, let's go for the quick break. We'll be right back. Folks, stick and stay. We'll be right back.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE LP 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
Professor Wall Street and Uncle Tommy on WZYE 95.9 FM. In the Village with Uncle Tommy and Professor Wall Street. You are listening to In the Village with your host, with Professor Wall Street and Uncle Tommy on WZYE 95.9 FM.
Yo, what's going on? This is Drizzy Drake.
Hi, this is Rihanna.
Hey, what's up? This is Ludacris.
What's up, y'all? This is Nicki Minaj.
You're rocking with the best. It's In the Village with Uncle Tommy and Professor Wall Street.
What's up? It's your boy Usher.
What's up, y'all? This is Beyonce.
Yeah, it's your boy Chris Brown right here.
Playing nothing but the best. It's In the Village with Uncle Tommy and Professor Wall Street.
Hey, this is Lady Gaga. Hey, it's Taylor Swift.
You're live in the mix with the one and only.
Hey, this is Justin Timberlake, and this is
In the Village with Uncle Tommy and Professor Wall Street.
We are back with you. It's In the Village with Uncle Tommy and Professor Wall Street on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come to you every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 7 to 10 p.m. TNT time and 6 to 9 p.m. USA time. I think, Tommy, that will change
next week.
Beginning of the weekend, right?
Yep.
We're gonna go back to regular. I see our guest is already inside. Dr. Sagewan, you gotta turn on your camera. I hope she hears me. All she's got to do is switch on her camera on her laptop or on her telephone. And then we can bring her in. All right? So yeah, Tommy, when you listen to there we go. Yeah, we just saw it. We just saw you. Okay, all right. You put up your avatar, but that's fine.
No, can you hear me? You hear me?
Can hear you. Can you hear me? Yeah,
okay.
we are hearing you.
I can hear you. Good evening. Good night. No, I'm actually physically here, but it just okay. If I take that off,
my camera. I'm not. It's on. I don't understand.
On his
I
audio.
know. I understand how to do this. It's just not. I don't know why. So I'm
Put back up the other tab.
muted. Sure, not a problem.
No, we could do it like that. We are fine with that. We can
Good.
work with that, right?
I'm good with that too. Sure.
Yeah, we could work with that. That's fine. We see in your face. That's the most important thing.
Okay. And you hear my voice very well.
And we hear in your voice wonderfully, splendiferously. So, Dr. Indera Sagewan, did we get that correct?
You absolutely did.
Thank you so very kindly for joining us. And of course, we have with us also is myself and another gentleman by the name of Uncle Tommy.
Good evening, Dr. Sagewan. Did I say it right?
You did. Dr. Tommy, is it? That's what he called you?
Uncle Tommy and
Uncle
Professor
Tommy.
Uncle Tommy. Uncle Tommy and Professor LeBon?
What? Well, get what it is that I have a nickname. So I worked at the New York Stock Exchange for 23 years. And you know, in Trinidad, people know me as Wall Street. So I call myself Professor Wall Street. Because I also teach at National University. So, you know, I put professor in Wall Street.
So I get you. So let me just, I'm speaking with Professor Wall Street and Uncle Tommy.
Correct.
Good.
So I just wanted to give a little background of yourself, tell people a little bit about you. Miss Indera Sagewan served as a member for Caroni East during the 4th Republican Parliament, which she won in a by-election following the passing of Mr. Sham Shuddin Mohammed in 1994. She served as a government senator temporary during the 5th Republican Parliament. And most people know you as an economist. And if anything else you would like to add to that?
Well, yes, I'm an economist by training. I have not been in active politics for quite a while. I am more considered an independent analyst. I speak on matters related to the economy of Trinidad and Tobago, and in terms of I have a PhD in international relations. I'm a consultant. I do consultant work for organizations such as UNDP, UNECLAG, the Caribbean Development Bank. I analyze industry and make recommendations for growth. I also teach part-time at the University of the West Indies. I teach international trade and development and globalization and the master's and postgraduate diploma program. I have been the director of the Caribbean Center for Competitiveness at the university. I've served on the boards of our companies such as National Gas Company, etc. And I think that probably kind of give people some context in terms of who I am. I'm a mother of 3, so I mix work, academia with family life.
Excellent. Splendiferous. Excellent. So, could we say Dr. Sagewan? Is that acceptable?
That is acceptable. If you're more comfortable, please feel free to call me Indira. I'm good with that as well.
Okay. Thank you so much. So, Dr. Sagewan, previously, right, we were having some discussions here, and we were talking about foreign direct investment. And we were talking about foreign direct investment inflows and foreign direct investment outflows. So we were just trying to give the people, our audience, a sense of, what is the, so here is the question. How has the foreign direct inflows and outflows trended in Trinidad over the past decade? And what are the main factors that explain the changes in foreign direct investment flows?
Well, I would say since about 2013, the flows of foreign direct investment into Trinidad and Tobago has been on the decline. It has even touched negative in some years, but it has been just trending downwards. This in large part is because, as you all would know, Trinidad and Tobago is by and large an oil and gas economy. And we had massive investment of foreign direct investment coming into the country in order to both engage in exploration of natural gas, previous to that oil, and to develop an entire petrochemical industry plus natural gas, liquid natural gas. The last plant, the last new investment we had in that sector was in 2013, and before that in 2010. Since then, we've had no new investment, and note I underscore the word new investment in any new project in the energy sector in Trinidad and Tobago, by and large, because we simply don't have the supply of natural gas. An investment of this nature, which is billions, millions to billions of US dollars, require at least a 15 to 20 year guarantee that these plants are going to have a secured source of natural gas. And we simply don't have that. In fact, currently, we don't even have enough supply to allow the existing plant infrastructure to be able to function at full capacity. We have plants that have shut down because they simply can't get natural gas. We have the closure of LNG Train 1 that has actually happened. Now, there has been investment by these very companies in terms of plant turnarounds and things that are related to maintain the current infrastructure, so that monies have come into the country for these purposes. So that's the oil and gas sector. And really our manufacturing sector is dominated by domestic companies, locally owned companies or regional companies, so that the inflow there has not been much, and its contribution to GDP has not risen in any significant way. And as we all know, tourism continues to lag significantly. We have not been able to attract the kinds of foreign investment into that sector as we should. And, don't even get me started on agriculture, which is basically a death's door for all intents and purposes. So that's inflows of foreign direct investment. I will say over the last decade, Trinidadian businessmen have become foreign investors in their own right. And they have been making significant investments, especially of the islands, countries such as Barbados and Guyana, for obvious reasons, in more recent time. Even in the United States and Miami, many of our manufacturing companies have made investments in plant in places as far as Europe. So there has been that kind of pattern, and not surprising, because the objective of private sector is to generate a profit. And if the economy of Trinidad and Tobago is not creating opportunities for the investment to take place and for profits to be generated, obviously that money is going to go elsewhere, and that is what we're seeing happening right now.
So excellent. So over the past few years, right, we have seen a decline in foreign direct investment into Trinidad and Tobago. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Right. But we have seen outflows because there are Trinidadian companies investing outside of Trinidad and Tobago. Like, I know they opened up a warehouse in Miami, Florida, and they also bought a grocery store in some other location. I think it was also in Florida, right?
Yeah, but that is minuscule. That is neither here nor there. That's just a distributing point. But you have companies like SM Jalil, for example, that have actually set up plants in countries in Europe in order to be able to tap into and expand into the European market. Now that is significant investment. In Guyana, a lot of our service-based companies, construction companies, are making heavy investments in Guyana because of the obvious benefits to be derived from the current oil and gas, or well, not so much gas yet, but oil boom that is taking place in Guyana. Now, you asked me earlier in terms of what accounts for this. What are the factors that attracts foreign direct investment? Foreign direct investment is investment that is about the business of generating profit. There is a social benefit, and that is if we look at it from government perspective. But foreign investment will come where it sees the opportunity to make a profit. So that is why during the boom days of the oil and gas sector, we couldn't get enough. And that is why Guyana is now benefiting in that same way. You have all of the large companies all over the world targeting Guyana and going into there. We are no longer attractive from that perspective because we do not have the raw material input, which in this case is natural gas, that is required for the investments that are required in this industry. We are talking about increasing our electricity price. So soon, even the advantage that we have in terms of offering competitive electricity rate is it's going to be, we're going to lose some of that. Then there's the issue of crime. Crime, even though foreign direct investment goes into places where crime is quite heavy if they feel that they can make a profit. In the case of Trinidad and Tobago, if you don't see the opportunity, then crime becomes an impediment, and you're not just going to come and put your money here and risk that you might lose it, or you
So,
might lose your life.
right. So what I hear you saying, Dr. Sagewan, two things I heard, right? You kind of glossed over agriculture, and I like to get back to that, because it seemed like you have a
Absolutely.
very big interest in agriculture, right? But also, go ahead.
No, I'm just laughing because yeah, I do, because I believe in I believe that it's not just agriculture. I believe that Trinidad and Tobago, we are at the point, or we have been for quite some time. People like myself, we've been calling for economic diversification. For I would tell you now, over 30 years, I have been a public voice, a rallying voice for economic diversification beyond oil and gas, because any person with the intellectual wherewithal would see that even though oil and gas would continue to be important, very relevant, we had an obligation, or certainly governments had an obligation, to take the largest coming from that sector and diversify the economic base of Trinidad and Tobago, as other countries have done so. Dubai, I will give you as an example, as case in point, which was, again, initially a desert, then found oil and gas, but it sought deliberately to diversify its economy into sectors that would not be so vulnerable to the loss of that key resource. In Trinidad and Tobago, we've been talking about diversification for a long time, but we've not gotten beyond the talk on it. So we talk about sport tourism, health tourism, culinary tourism, the marine services sector, agriculture and food security, fashion, creative industries. And the list, I mean, I could go on and on with the list, but if you ask the question where any one of these things are, the answer is not anywhere near it should be. There is a policy document that was developed by what was at one point in time the Economic Development Board of Trinidad and Tobago, so a board set up by government to look at the issue of diversification and make recommendations. One of the recommendations coming out of there was that because we have what is called fine flavor cocoa, we had the basis to develop the document referred to a Rolls Royce industry in the production of chocolate. What has happened since this is probably about 2000 and anywhere between 2010 and 2015, this document would have been written. We are now in 2023, and the latest information that is in the Review of the Economy 2023 speaks to the fact that the production of cocoa continues to decline significantly. In the 1930s, we used to be producing about 36,000 tons of cocoa. Today, we are producing 8.5. What is the measure?
8.5 thousand kilograms.
Thank you very much. 8.5 thousand kilograms. Yes,
Yeah.
that is what we're producing. Or most of our estates are either, we are now hearing where we are facing the fact that we have the witch broom disease that are infesting the fields, and we have a University of the West Indies that was started as an agriculture institution. We have the oldest gene bank for cocoa in the world, the Cocoa Research Center at the University of the West Indies. So really, what are we doing in order to convert this Rolls Royce resource that government said we have into something that is credible? Any volume of cocoa that we could produce, there is a market for it that will pay premium price for it. There are things obviously we need to do, ensure quality of the beans. We need to do a geographical markings to ensure that the people could trace where it comes from. All of these things are required, and we've been talking about it. We've been talking about it now for in my lifetime alone, well over 30 years, and we haven't moved. We haven't moved the radar along that, and that's just one crop. If you want to talk agriculture, I could talk about so many other things.
Yeah, but before you go on, I did a little homework, and you had coined something on your Facebook page, the demise of King Cook, and you said cocoa production declined significantly by 90% to 8.5 thousand kilograms during the first half of fiscal 2023, and from 85,000 kilograms during the first half of fiscal 2022. And you put TT Cocoa Company. Doc, when you look at these things, we have what it is that we are missing with respect to trying to diversify the economy. Something.
Political will.
That's it?
Political will. Absolutely. We got a lot of political talk. I've been talking this a long time.
And I guess no one is listening, right? So when are they going to start listening?
Well, you would think they would start to listen now, given where the natural gas industry is. If we don't have, if the Dragon deal doesn't come through with Venezuela, I mean, we are in a seriously crappy place, because the existing exploration that is taking place within our own waters can't even get us up to production at 100% of the existing plant infrastructure. It is declining. In fact, in terms of growth, the growth of the country, the non-energy sector has made significant strides. And within that element is the petrochemical industry. It used to fall under energy. It now falls under non-energy manufacturing. God alone knows why. But while its monetary contribution has increased because of a war in Russia and Ukraine that pushed the prices of ammonia, methanol, urea up, in actuality, production continues to fall. The production of these commodities continue to fall because there simply isn't the natural gas that is required in order to keep the plants operational. Or we have so much infrastructure in terms of housing, etc., that was taken up by expats who worked in the industry that's now lying idle, and if I guess all gone to Guyana. So if not now, when? It should have been a long time ago, but right in this moment in history, if not now, when?
That is a good question. But also, Dr. Sagewan, how can the 2024 Venezuelan election affect this Dragon gas deal? Suppose the opposition was, if there was an opposition in Venezuela, suppose the opposition was to come into power in Venezuela, how could that affect?
The opposition, if the opposition were allowed to run, then we could entertain that notion. But Venezuela has made it very clear up to today that election is going to, they gave us a date, but that's up to now, the opposition is banned from contesting the election. So what is the sense of that election? So in fact, that was an issue that I addressed when there was the notion that that Venezuela had agreed to free and fair election. And there was that consideration then. What if the opposition got into government and decided, well, I'm sorry, Trinidad and Tobago, we really don't like you all very much. You all have been, in bed with the past regime and we don't like you. So that obviously could have been a situation. But it looks like we may not have that situation. But the more important issue is, if Venezuela refuses to budge on this issue, what is the Americans going to do? What is your government going to do? So far, according to our government, the Dragon deal is safe. It doesn't fall under the deals that the American government had agreed to allow to happen. They claim they are under a separate agreement, but anything could happen. And even then, you are negotiating with a administration that is at best unstable.
Correct.
That at best, yes, I mean, look at the current state of Venezuela. Look at the state in which that very government has its own people scrambling and begging, and trying to flee in order to be able to eke out a small, decent living in other countries that are not their homes. So it is a very, it's a tightrope that is very precarious that we are walking on, Trinidad and Tobago. And while we are doing that, and mind you, I certainly believe that we should do everything that we can to make that happen, because we still continue to depend so heavily on oil and gas that we really need it to happen. So by all means, continue to go down that road. And we always say an extra prayer every night that it comes to pass. But simultaneously, put our fine minds, and we have lots of fine minds, put our fine minds to the business of diversifying the economy.
Right.
Let me give you a good example: the yachting industry, right? The yachting industry. I have to open a document. So the yachting industry, our yachting industry peaked in 2000 when we had the arrivals of 2,500 yachts. These are the small sail yachts, right? Because I don't know if you know, but Trinidad and Tobago, we have a lot of natural advantages that should make us a mecca for yachts, because we're outside the hurricane belt in the 2000s, and during that period, the yachts would come to Trinidad and Tobago, not so much to sail, because we don't have great sailing waters, but we're close to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we know where the great sailing water is. But they would come here at the end of the sailing season. They would come here and spend 6 months during the hurricane period. And they would have all their boat repairs being done here. So we're talking about significant value adding. Technical skills were developed, the art of sail making, the art of repairing of yachts, which are highly skilled areas, developed in Trinidad and Tobago. In 2000, we peaked in terms of yacht arrivals at 2,500. And I'm trying very hard to open a document here, but somehow my computer is not cooperating. To give you the current figure, it's a couple of hundred. I think it's basically okay. So let me tell you what it is. From 2000 to now, the number of boats coming into Trinidad and Tobago has been on a constant decline. 2022, 476 compared to 2,500 in 2000. Okay, 476. And you might say, okay, but we suffered COVID and we're now starting to recover, so we got to give it time. But in 2019, we had 945 boats. So it wasn't that we were on an upward trajectory with respect to this yachting sector. And I speak to, I've done some work in the yachting sector, and I speak to persons there, and they said, a young boy from Laventille could jump in a maxi, get to Shagaramas, enter one of the boatyards, and earn an easy $150 just to wash down somebody's yacht during this period.
Yep.
What are these young people doing now? And I'm not taking away the word Laventille, and I want to say young people on the whole who have dropped out of schools. What are they doing? So many of them have turned to a life of crime. Crime is the new. Maybe it's a sad thing to say, but we need to probably be able to market it and maybe make some money out of it, because it is the thing that we seem to be doing really, really well in Trinidad and Tobago. God forbid, please, I take back what I just said. But it is the one thing we seem to be doing very, very well, right?
Yep.
And we have lost most of our capacity to be able to do yachting well. In fact, in 2016, I did a short series on diversification, and I looked at the yachting industry. And when I went on the day when the last sail making company was closing down, and he was migrating, and he was closing down because he couldn't compete with sails that were coming out of South Africa that were coming made already, because the duties that he had to pay on the raw materials that he imported in order to make sails was so prohibitive, he simply could not compete with the imported sail. So he had to close up shop. So we're not about the business of supporting indigenous and doing what is necessary in order to develop niche industries, earn big money from small enterprises, and basically do well. We have a population of 1.3 something million people. I mean, how hard should it be? I mean, tell me there's probably a township in the United States with more people than that. And we cannot, make it such that people in this country are comfortable. Most of our young professionals are leaving. We're suffering a brain drain that you cannot imagine. So we're investing the money in human capital training. So we are ticking a box that yes, the number of graduates are increasing, but then what do? They can't find a job, so they're leaving and they're going to the United States and to Canada and to United Kingdom and wherever else and contributing to the development of those countries because they simply can't do it here because one, they can't find jobs. If they can't find a job, they can't afford on their salaries to be able to own a house, even to pay rent, to pay all the bills. They cannot have quality of living because there is so much crime. So where I sound like the messenger of doom and gloom, don't I?
No, you don't. No, Dr. Sagewan. I think what we do here is we say facts don't lie. You know, we believe in facts rather than fiction, right? So, for example, during the third quarter of 2023, the central bank reported an unemployment rate of 3.2%. However, I will ask a question, Dr. Sagewan. What about those people who have stopped looking for work?
Oh yeah, that is we have our, in fact, the participation, called the participation rate, and labor force participation rate. It's about 76% according to the central bank, according to the CS. So there's a small uptick in that. Means it increased a little bit, which means a few more people enter the job market. But you know what? I'm very sorry. I have very difficulty believing that in this country where I live, the unemployment rate is 3 point something percent. I have grave difficulties believing that because
Dr. Sagewan, are you saying that the central bank giving us misleading statistics?
the central bank is giving you the statistics that it gets from the CSO, and I have great difficulties as a professional, as an economist, accepting that because I live here and I understand the the number of young people who come up to me and they can't find a job. They've been out with their degrees years now and they can't find a job. No, the government has done a good job. Let me tell you what we do in order to address that. We make work. So we have an extensive OJT program where we hire our graduates. So government creates artificial employment. We want an economy that is creating sustainable employment. We want these growth sectors like the manufacturing and the tourism and the yachting and the agriculture. We want those sectors to be generating employment. A young guy responded to that Facebook post of mine. He's a graduate from the Agriculture Institute, and his comment was, Dr. Sagewan, there's so many of us who went into agriculture, we went and did our degrees because the government of the day said, we were food security, it was a priority, and we were creating opportunities for you. And he said he's sitting on that degree and he's had to find work elsewhere. So there's an absolute disconnect. We have so many engineers that are coming out and can't find jobs. There's an absolute disconnect between our education system and what we're producing and what the labor market needs are. But then the labor market itself is not generating the kinds of opportunities that it needs to be generating. But this is work that needs to be done. This is work, you Google, you Google any profession in a United States or Canada, in a developed country, and you will see what the prospects are. You will see the number of professionals in every field that is going to be needed for the next 5 years. You could plan your professional development based on that, knowing that when you come out, there is going to be opportunity for you. We don't generate that kind of data in Trinidad and Tobago. So we simply, go along and train persons. You just go and do whatever you feel like you like.
It's interesting, right? Because when the population hears 3.2%, I don't know if the population actually hears it, but if the population hears 3.2%, they'd be like, unemployment, they'd be like, what? What about all these people? When you have cruise ships coming to Trinidad, to try to hire people, when you have the prisons looking for people, and you have thousands of people lined up, you'll ask yourself, well, where is this 3.2% actually coming from? Well, I mean, it's only from September of last year. But where is this 3.2% actually coming from?
Exactly. So yeah. So you just a solidified case that I'm making.
Okay, thank you so much. But Dr. Sagewan, I wanted to go back to something you mentioned, right? Sports tourism. Now, I can tell you, I am a sports fanatic. And at one point, I had recommended to a certain government a sports development academy like IMG Academy. And that was taken into account sports tourism, right? And I'm trying to find the disposable files where they put it, but I haven't found it as yet, right? And so when you talk about sports tourism as a part to diversify the economy, how come the government haven't considered something like that?
So first to begin with, it's not me who offer sports tourism, although I could argue it for you. It is the government. It is a policy statement that Trinidad and Tobago is diversifying into sports tourism. Okay, but what does that mean? I don't think those who put it on paper understand what it means. Sports tourism means that you are actively and aggressively developing an industry that is self-sustaining in the sense that it is continuously earning income, and in this instance, if it's tourism, it's earning foreign exchange, hard currency, for the kinds of activities that are taking place in Trinidad and Tobago. You talk about an academy, and you're not wrong. I mean, we can't be all to everyone. And when you think about the way sports is done, when you think about any particular sport, there are particular countries you can associate with it, right? And the same thing in Trinidad and Tobago, or if we want to take a regional approach, because there's that kind of approach too. When you think about the Caribbean, what sport do you think about? So that's the first thing we need to answer. What do we have comparative advantage in? What do we kind of churn out in terms of the key human resource that lends itself to it? I mean, I let me just hazard a guess. It could be cricket. I know it's there to some extent. It could be football as well. But I think if we had to rank them in terms of order, cricket would probably fall as number one. When we look at the infrastructure, not just in Trinidad and Tobago, but around the region, we have a lot of cricket infrastructure, money spent by the state in infrastructure, which for the most part lies idle for most of the year, unless we're having a CPL or we're having an odd event that is taking place. What are we doing aggressively to create a calendar of events that keeps the infrastructure employed? What are we doing to ensure the training academy that you talk about, that we do it at a world scale level, at a center of excellence level, where we have the scouts who are going into all the villages, whatever, and finding the best talented, recruiting them, bringing them, having them live and train and become the best. Us, it's done. I mean, this is no rocket science. It's easy to just look at what those people who do it well, what they do, and then just copy it. That's all we have to do, So we have the Brian Lara Academy, which we overspend by billions of dollars in order to have it. I don't know if you guys come and been there, but if there is an event, you can't find, there's no parking. So you put down a facility like that, and you don't ensure you have the requisite parking to be able to accommodate. People have to be parking on the road, going down to Hololo in terms of when they go to a spot into a game that is being played there. And if we're talking about sports tourism, let's take that particular place, the Brian Lara Stadium. Where is the infrastructure around that? Where is the accommodation, the hotels, etc., that should have emerged around that supports this thing? Because tagged onto that should be the center of training excellence that you speak about.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, but I mean, what do I know? What do I know? So,
No. You know a lot.
Know a lot more. I say that tongue in cheek because those who have been in power for the last 30, 40, 50 years have basically failed us in terms of transforming this economy. It is so sad when you think about the kinds of billions of US dollars that has flowed through the economy of Trinidad and Tobago via oil and gas, and where we are today.
Dr. Sagewan, it's true, When you look at the facilities in Trinidad and Tobago, you look at the Hazy Crawford Stadium, you look at the Larry Gomes, you look at Otto Bolden, and you go across the country, right? I mean, it is sad. It is sad. In sports, in track and field, we used to be one of the top 3 countries in character. But that's where it starts. Now we have little islands like British Virgin Islands getting more medals than us in a character. We just finished the World Indoor Championship. Dominica won a gold medal, right? St. Lucia won a gold medal. Even though Bahamas is bigger than us, they won a gold medal as well. We didn't even make a final, not even a final. And it is sad that this is 2024 and we are just sullying along and whatever it is, whatever happens, happens.
We're basically on remote control. What was the word? Am I looking? Am I is the right word? We really a rudderless ship. That is the best way I can describe us. We're
I
rudderless.
would
Continue.
say that's an understatement.
Okay. However, we continue to be caught up in this romance with oil and gas and don't seem and have blinkers to anything else, and that is really sad. When you look at where food is going to be, in the future, look at population growth, look at the issue of climate change and the impact that climate change is having on the production of food. Food is the next goal. Sometimes a bag of pepper sometimes sells for more than a barrel of oil. But we are not producing it. We used to have the hottest pepper in the world. Now we still have a few in the top 10, but we no longer have the hottest pepper in the world because we didn't protect the IP for our scorpion pepper. We allowed North Carolina, South Carolina, to take it, to do the research, to take the DNA of the scorpion and produce the Carolina Reaper. And that is now the hottest pepper in the world. But this is the way it's done. Even though they surpassed our scorpion pepper and became the hottest in the world, they didn't just rest on their laurels like we did. They went ahead to create a pepper that was even hotter than that because its objective was to remain the hottest, to remain having the boast of having the hottest pepper in the world. So, constant innovation, constant, they say there's the old saying is if it ain't break, don't break it. But the new theory is
We'll fix it.
if it ain't break it, because if you don't break it, somebody else is going to come and break it.
Dr. Sagewan.
Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
As far as our agricultural programs are concerned, we, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, need to step up personally and not just depend on government. Or we need to make some noise so that they can do what's right by the citizenry as far as all of our agricultural programs are concerned. What say you?
What say me is that unfortunately, people of Trinidad and Tobago, we are armchair critics. We are WhatsApp critics. We are Facebook. We talk a lot there. But when it comes to actually, putting our feet to the ground and using our collective voices in order to bring about the change that we need, we don't seem to be able to do that. So there are the few voices that people believe should speak for everyone else, and we can't be even. And outside of that, there are things that we can do, simple things like make a choice when you go to the grocery. Leave the imported kale and buy the locally grown kale. That is on par. That is a lot fresher, than the one that is imported. Support the local farmers. We have that capacity with the power of the pocket to be able to influence that. We bring in imported avocados into this country by the container loads, and more often than not, those things are not even edible because it's a totally different product to what we produce. Even during avocado season, these imported avocados are being brought into the country, but it's brought once. You see it a second time, you see it a third time, and then after a few years, you're still seeing it. What does that mean? it means that we consumers are buying it. We are buying it. Somebody brought me one recently and said they bought it from someone who said it was a local avocado. So it brought it for me. Now, I know my local avocados. I know when it's ripe. I have to be feeling a slight little, softness when I touch the skin, right? So I'm waiting for that to happen.
Yes.
A week went by, I'm still not feeling. And then when I do feel it and I cut the thing open, the entire thing is rotted.
It's done. Yes.
I don't, yeah, it's gone. I don't know that product. That product is, I believe we should eat what's in season when it's season and wait for it to come around the next time and save our scarce foreign exchange in order to engage in enterprises that are producing for the export market. To me, it is a simple math. That's a simple math. And I mean, mind you, we're not islands in turn of ourselves. And there are things we obviously will have to import. But our food import bill is over $6 billion. We're tropical.
I was just gonna ask you about that. Our import food bill. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. Yep.
Right?
Close to $1 billion US a year.
Yes. But Dr. Sagewan, doesn't that have a little bit to do with politics, maybe? And
it probably has a lot to do with politics. Yeah, it probably has a lot to do with politics because politics isn't prepared to make the hard decisions that's in the best interest of the country and choose to make the decisions that are in the best interest of some minority interest group. So that's why it was so easy for me to answer you the question when you asked, what's the problem with diversification? Political will.
We were talking recently about the pine chow and the potential of making it an exportable item. And as with mangoes and other fruits that we get that go to waste at times in Trinidad and Tobago, why haven't we been able to attract investment in these fields and in these arenas?
But there's the issue of scale. I mean, we're small island states, so there's several issues. One, you have to, if you want to add value, there's particular breeds of mangoes. If you stay with mangoes, would lend itself to it. Not all of them. I mean, Trinidad and Tobago, we probably have the widest range of mangoes. Not all of them will lend themselves to value added. So that's one thing we have to take into consideration. So we need to focus on which are the ones that lend themselves to that and in fields. It seems like a simple solution, right? Produce it in fields so that we can have the scale of production that is required in order to justify the packaging or the value adding or whatever we do to it. I mean, there are small artisanal persons who do the best they can and do quite well. They preserve the plums and the mangoes. I mean, you all know the red mangoes and plums that whenever you be coming to New York or anywhere in the States, we got to make sure we pack it up and bring it for our people there because you do probably do get it, but you have to probably pay a lot more than, if I'm bringing it for you. So so some of that actually is happening, but where is the support to take it to the next level? That is the more important question. You talk about the pineapple chow, yeah? So the pineapple, I mean, there's a huge part of Trinidad that have really done a lot of work at the micro level in terms of producing pine. Really lovely pines, right? But one season you'll have the nice pines that are nice and big, and then the next season you'll see the pines are like quarter the size, half the size. So you need research and development to support a pine industry to ensure that you can have consistency with respect to that. That's one thing. The other thing is there was lobbying, and I'm not even sure if they got to the point where they actually built a plant to process pine to can it. But from my understanding, the pine that we produce in Trinidad is not the ideal one for canning because there's going to be a lot of loss, a lot of wastage because we produce the big pines. And I mean, you all know the size of the can, right? So it doesn't support that particular model. But doesn't mean there are not other things that we can't do with it. But we got to do the work. We can't just get up and figure or take a yawn and say, well, we got mangoes and therefore we should do something with it. We have to understand the market, basic principles, do we have the requisite supply to to make the investment in value added. Even before that, is there demand, sufficient demand for it? Where is the demand? What price is the demand? Those who want it prepared to pay for it. What is the cost of producing it, and then match the cost of producing it with the cost, with the price the consumer wants to pay, and determine whether you can make a profit in it. It's, those are the kind of support that small individuals who are trying to do their own thing need. The farmers need that kind of support so that we can match production with value added, with manufacturing in a lot more meaningful way.
But Dr. Sagewan, I saw a video recently about a peas industry in Degomartin, the hills of Degomartin, and they are
Pigeon
making
peas?
all different type of items from, I think it's pigeon peas. And I said to myself, I said, but wait now, that right there could be another industry in Trinidad and Tobago, and also
When
create employment as well.
when you say all kinds of product, what do you mean?
No, when I talking about the pigeon peas industry as one.
Okay, right. But okay, and we in Trinidad love pigeon peas, but the issue is climate change has impacted the pigeon peas, the primary industry significantly, because the plants are confused in terms of when to be. The volume of pigeon peas that is on the market can't even satisfy the domestic demand for the peas in the shell, much less to have the surplus that is required in order to be able to add value. And with respect to this initiative in Digo Martin, if it's a small micro enterprise and they are able to probably purchase all that they could find on the market, have storage in order to be able to have a supply, because remember, this is seasonal. The pigeon pea season is just about 3 months, and it has gotten shorter and shorter over the last few years. The pigeon peas that you're getting to buy on the market right now, the size of the pod is almost, it's almost like none. And so that something is happening with the industry. And again, I come back to the issue of the fact that we have a entire faculty of agriculture and food security or food production at the University of West Indies. And it begs the question, what are they doing in order to be able to support this industry so that we can potentially do what you're saying? Because as it is, we depend on canned pigeon peas, or we import frozen pigeon peas out to Latin America.
In this country, we eat a lot of avocados, and sometimes the avocados come from Mexico, right? And it's the real small ones. And there's a difference between the organic and the rare. Tell it the honest truth. If we buy 5 avocados, sometimes 2 of them we have to throw in the garbage.
Yes.
Because they're just not good. Mangoes, we buy mangoes after 1 or 2 days. In Trinidad we say they come quaily. They become quaily. And I haven't tasted mangoes like the mangoes from Trinidad and Tobago. And I don't understand. I know we don't have the kind of mango fields in order to export mangoes. But for example, Julie mango. I don't think I've tasted a mango in this country that's sweeter than a Julie mango.
But the more important question is why don't we have the fields? That's the important question.
Right, that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying that we have certain things, like we talk about the scorpion pepper, right? Other people producing a much hotter pepper than us now. We had one of the hottest pepper in the world, right? And we just let that go by the wayside. Well, not just go by the wayside, but when we should have, as you said, we should have had a patent for that, right? Nobody can just take it and then duplicate it, right? But they have done that, and now we don't really have one of the hottest peppers in the world. But there is so many things that I see from Trinidad that's not in this country, that's coming from other countries. And I ask myself, how come? What it is? It is, I guess, as you said, some people just don't have the will, the political will in order to do it, because it may cause some political disruptions, so to speak.
Well, it would appear. There are other examples. We never protected our steel pan.
True.
It's being produced by people all over the world. We get nothing for it. We didn't protect our peculiar cocoa. and you have artisanal cocoa being produced, advertising that it has Trinidad's Trinitario cocoa in it, we get nothing for it because we fail to protect it.
So, Doc, what are some of the key recommendations you will give to the government of Trinidad and Tobago with respect to improving maybe the business environment and maybe enhancing public service deliveries? What are some of the key policy recommendations you will give to the government?
Right now, I think the most important thing is get crime under control. Because if you don't get crime under control, the exodus that is taking place of our human capital, and I use human capital, not just people, because we are losing the best of our best because the quality of life is important. So that is one of the very important thing the government needs to be doing. From a business perspective, we need to get over our love affair with oil and gas, and we need to seriously prioritize non-energy diversification in the same way that we did with natural gas and its derivatives, because we did an amazing job at that. We were world scale. This small, tiny little island, was known globally for our production of methanol, urea, LNG. We did that. We did it. And a lot of it we did with our local talents, and so it's not that we can't. We can, but what we had then was political will. We had the political will to support and push that industry and to make the venture capital investments that were required in order to seed it and grow it and then come out of it and allow the private sector to continue to run with it. The same kinds of things are required in our other sectors. In some instances, it's simply bureaucracy that needs to get out of the way. So if I come back to yachting, for example, the yachting industry in Trinidad and Tobago, a yacht coming into Trinidad has to fill out 16 forms. To go into any one of our neighboring islands, Grenada, St. Vincent, anywhere, they have to just one form, one harmonized form they have to fill out. They're coming here to stay 6 months, but we don't give them a 6 months when they land. So midway, they have to go into Port of Spain and fight up in order to get an extension attack. Simple things, not rocket science, a stroke of a pen. The industry has been lobbying for this now going well over 30 years, and up to now it can't be done, even though government identifies yachting as a premier sector. In the case of agriculture, let us identify a few things that we could do the work and understand that we have significant advantage in these things, and let us support industries based around these few things. Earn the foreign exchange, and then we could import everything else. That's fine. But let us...
Dr. Sagewan, can you hold it for 1 minute? We got to go for a 5 seconds break. Can you hold with us for another few minutes?
Sure.
Okay, hold on. Hold with us 1 minute. We're going to go for a quick session. Folks, it's In the Village with yours truly, Professor Wall Street and Uncle Tommy, and you. And we have with us tonight economist Dr. Indera Sagewan, and we're talking all things Trinidad and Tobago. We'll be right back. Stick and stay.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE LP 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
Host with Professor Wall Street and Uncle Tommy on WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to In the Village with your host with Professor Wall Street and Uncle Tommy on WZYE 95.9 FM.
We are back with you. It's In the Village with yours truly, Professor Wall Street and Uncle Tommy on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come to you every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 7 to 10 p.m. TNT time and 6 to 9 p.m. USA time. Tonight, our guest is Dr. Indera Sagewan, and we're talking all things economic in Trinidad and Tobago. Dr. Sagewan, you want to pick up where you left off?
Yeah,
We
you're
was,
gonna
I
have
think
to.
we were talking about. Were we talking about crime? I think we were talking about crime.
Oh no, we were talking about the things that talk about my recommendation to
Right,
government.
right. Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, so I talked about crime. I talked about prioritizing some sectors, getting over the oil and gas thing, and yeah. So to me, those are the things that government needs to understand. It has to play a transformational role beyond oil and gas in the economy of Trinidad and Tobago. You can't be talking about food security and saying that that is a priority for the country, and then you allocate less than $1 billion in your national budget to agriculture, 90% of which goes simply as in administrative costs. So you have very little money, $100 million that is left over to actually do development, actually grow the sector. That is playing dolly house. If you are serious about the sector, then you have to be prepared to put the resources in to make it happen,
To see
as
the
we did in oil and gas.
Doc, I was looking at the CSO statistics with respect to constant to price GDP and current to price GDP. The constant to price GDP was up 3.8%, and the current price GDP was down minus 5.6%. Normally, we talk about real GDP and nominal GDP. You wanna kind of give us a little synopsis of those two?
Yeah, well, there is just same thing you're talking about, just using two different words. Constant GDP is the same thing as real, because you have a 1 year that you use as your base year, and then you reference all other years by that. Okay. So, and what we have to be concerned with is real GDP. Nominal GDP sounds nice, but it doesn't tell the real story. Real GDP, or GDP at constant prices tell the real story. So the example I will give you is in 2022, in February 2022, we all know what happened. Ukraine and Russia went to war. As a consequence, the prices of oil, natural gas, ammonia, methanol, all of these things just simply skyrocketed because of the war. Without Trinidad and Tobago producing one additional barrel of oil or one additional MMBTU of natural gas, in fact, it could have been that we were producing less. We were now making a significantly larger amount of money. So when you look at real GDP, when you look at what is it? Market GDP at market value, you would have seen a huge jump. But when you come down and you remove the inflationary impact, because it is the change in price that caused that to happen. When you remove the inflationary impact, then you see the real what really happened with respect to GDP. Okay, so real GDP in Trinidad and Tobago, let me give you some stats. It grew by 0.4% in 2019. It contracted by minus 9.1 in 2020, and for obvious reason, that was COVID. It grew by 1% in 2021, so we just started in recovery. 2022, 1.5%. 2023, 1.4%. So our growth in GDP has once again become positive, which is very good. But 2023 was actually 0.1% less than 2022. So because 2022 was that anomaly, that additional growth in real terms was caused by the fact that we enjoyed higher prices for our natural gas. Okay, but what is significant is even pre-COVID, the change in real GDP was only 0.04%. So we were not in a very good place even before COVID. And we're now once again starting to see some amount of growth taking place, but it is very marginal at best. Did I help? Did I do what you wanted?
No, yeah, because no, I just wanted to give that clarification because we have some people may want to ask us, well, exactly, what is real GDP? And just as an example, real GDP is an inflation-adjusted measure that reflects the value of all goods and services produced by an economy in a given year, right? So that's just when we talk about real GDP. That's what we can say is real GDP. Now, Doc, there was someone asking a question. Will I be correct? The person is asking this question. Will I be correct to say that in 2022 we experienced a oil boom during that war?
Yes, we enjoy. I wouldn't call it an oil boom. We enjoyed a growth spurt in money value. So we got a gift. We got a gift. But as we all know, prices have started to come down. It is expected to remain around $80 per barrel for oil 2024 going to 2025. However, our production of oil is not doing, and we're not doing really well on that. Natural gas, though, the price last year was after Ukraine Russian war, it went up to over $6 per MMBTU. It is now back down to below $3. So it is now back to pre-COVID price, and we are primarily a natural gas economy. So natural gas price is more important, and when that price has come down to pre-COVID levels. So the small, benefit, unless, and again, when we look at the world economy, remember things change. The only constant in the world is change. And as we look, when the gurus, when they're looking at global growth, they are saying, the things that could cause, like for example, global inflation has been stabilized. But that can be undone if another war breaks out somewhere, or another pandemic breaks out somewhere. So there are variables outside our control. If climate change continues to worsen and the main exporter of primary commodities have difficulty in supplying what it is used to supplying to the world, prices go up. If the kind of pirating that we're seeing in the which part of the world where ships are being actually pirated, if that continues, it means price of goods and services goes up. So all of these things are real issues. So Trinidad and Tobago, we are price taker when it comes to our major export commodities, and we simply have to hope for the best.
Dr.
Now,
Saj,
go ahead, Tommy.
Doc, there's something that is just lagging and hanging in the balance right now among us that we haven't gotten to yet, but I feel compelled to go there. Property taxes and the new property taxes and the effect that it's having on Trinidad and Tobago, and where we're going with it, and where we'll wind up, and where do you see it going as far as what's being presented at this particular time to the people of Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, let me start off by saying that I'm not against property tax. Property tax is a common feature of any civilized society. However, in countries like yours, you know where property tax is going. You know that it's going to enter the schools that is in your area, the roads that is in your area. You know that it's going to be adding value to your property. In the case of Trinidad and Tobago, first thing, the property tax is going into the consolidated fund. Consolidated fund means central government. Who is going to control how it is then disbursed at the community level to impact my house or your house, to increase the value of that? So that is one of the issue. And then the detail. Sorry.
Doc, can I ask a question?
Yes.
I don't mean to interrupt you.
Sure.
Isn't it going to the municipal corporations now instead of the consolidated fund?
No, it's going to the consolidated fund, and then it is to be disbursed to the municipal corporation. We
So
don't
it
have a
doesn't go directly to the municipal corporations.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so that's the first thing. And the second thing is that the devil is in the detail. So the way it operates, if it's done fairly, if it's done sensibly, it isn't. It is not unreasonable. Now let me see if I can remember the formula, okay? Because it is.
I got
You
it, Doc. I know it. I
determine.
know
You got it?
it.
Yeah. Let me hear it. Hear me
Yeah,
hear.
I know it. It is the you have a value that's an assessed value, then there's a 10% discount, and that 10% discount you multiply it by 3%, and you will get your yearly, property tax, and you'll divide it by 12, and you'll get your monthly value.
Right. Okay. So that's it. I mean, by my estimation, if I'm to assume the rent I feel my property will get, it's not unreasonable. However, the devil is in the detail in terms of how and who is going to determine what the rental value of my property is. So issues that are going right. So exactly, so did you what is the rental property value that you started off with? I think people should know that one. What was the origin? What was the value of my house to begin with? That ended up, and you ended up with the $81 per month.
Right.
I'm asking you, what was the value of the property?
Oh no, it was the annual rental value was $36,000.
Right. Okay. But okay. This house is located where, and because you're starting off with, in terms of, I mean, don't worry about it. Just forget. Let's just talk about.
No, that was just an example. Like
right.
if you're
How we, sure. I
right,
get you.
it's 6,000.
Right. So if you could rent your house for $3,000 a month, basically what you're saying is that you will be paying $81 per month in property tax.
Right. If your annual rental value is $36,000,
Correct.
you get
Correct.
a 10% discount to give you annual property tax, and then you multiply that by 3%, and you'll get per year, and then you'll get per month.
Is that the minimum?
Is that what?
Yes, I think.
Yeah, that's the minimum.
Right. Now, are you good with it 3%, or do you think it should be less than that?
No, I am good with it 3%. The problem is, like I said, the devil lies in the detail, not in the detail of the final calculation, but how you're going to get to the rental value of my property. How do you determine that? So I live in a little tiny, I live in Valsine, let's assume, and I live in what was my grandfather's house. I've not done anything. It's a small little 3-bedroom house. Next to me is a sprawling mansion. Is there somebody who's going house to house to determine what the rental value of each property is? Or are you zoning?
No.
Are you saying, that's my point?
They're taking they take samples. They take
Correct.
25, I'll take 5 houses and I'll figure it out. I mean, I make some calculation here and there, and then I tell you this is your assessment.
Right. Correct. So that is one problem. The second problem is it's a function. They also taken in consideration how many bathrooms you have in your home. So I never intended to rent my home, but I have wanted to make my home comfortable. So I put in bathrooms for all my kids or whatever. But that now is going to affect the rental value of my property, vis-a-vis my neighbor who may have 1 or 2 bathrooms. That is in theory how this thing is supposed to operate. Okay. But what was done is they then sent around these forms, gave us a deadline by which we had to put in the value of the value of our property, copy, I think, maybe of the deed if we had it, or the deed number. Then we had to describe the house, whatever, and make an assumption about rental value, whatever. And we had to submit it in. So everybody was required to do that. And the government needed a certain percentage in order to be able to go ahead and implement the property tax. It instituted a severe penalty if you fail to do the submission by the date that was given. And as far as I know, people are receiving in their mail the tax they're supposed to be paid. Some, from what I'm hearing, is correct. I haven't received one yet in my mailbox, but some people are saying it's okay. Some people are saying no, it's ridiculous. So I'm not sure. But the devil really is in the detail in terms of how, in which you are, and the approach that you're using in order to do the calculation. So that's with respect to the issue of property tax. But then it is the issue of timing. Coming out of COVID-19, the pandemic, given the degree of lockdown that Trinidad and Tobago suffered, which was nothing like any other country in the world, and the extent to which economic activity was brought to an abject halt, and the extent to which people had to draw down their savings, borrow money in order to be able to survive that year and a half to 2 years. And then following that, we had increase in gas prices, which still come in because recently, the last budget, we had moving more and more to a market rate. So we had more increases in that. We had the gate that people had planned on getting 100% gate for their children who are in school. We then moved to a system of means testing, which meant if depending on your level of income, you would qualify for a certain amount of gate. So if you didn't qualify for 100%, now you had to find the means to be able to pay the difference. What are some of the other things that we were slapped with? We were slapped with a 7%. A 7%. Yeah, those are coming, but I'm talking about things that actually came already. A 7% additional tax on credit card payments. Now, a lot of people, were bypassing the brick and mortar store, buying things directly online, Amazon, etc., and paying cents on it compared to what we would pay for it locally in a brick and mortar store. But government had a difficulty with that to slap a 7% tax onto that. Those which a lot of small micro enterprises were using their credit cards in order to buy stocks or buy inventory that they needed in order to operate. And then now they had this additional tax put onto them. And now we are looking at increased water rates, increased electricity rates, and property tax. Timing is the issue. We are squeezing, this country is squeezing its middle class, pushing its middle class into poverty. The middle class doesn't have anything in its pocket to meet these additional burden. To meet this burden mean you have to cut things. What do you cut? If I'm already spending, I'm living paycheck to paycheck, and now these additional burdens come onto me, and there's no opportunity for me to get a salary increase. If I work in the public service, I get 4% the other day, and that was like from when we're not even talking about a salary increase based on current wages. You're asking me to live, I think, in something like 2015 prices, and you give me some little something. Look at what inflation has brought to persons, and here you are now putting these additional burden and you're not growing the economy, not creating opportunities where persons can go and have an expectation that their wages and salaries are going to be increasing in order to meet these additional burdens.
But Dr. Sagewan, Tommy and I, we both live in New Jersey, and we have one of the highest tax in the country.
In the U.S.
In the U.S., right? And our tax is about, what was our tax again, Tommy? 2.47?
Yes.
I think it was like 2.4%. Our tax, right?
Less than 3%.
Less than 3%. And when you go up the Caribbean, there are many Caribbean islands taxes. Some of them are under 1%. In my estimation, I believe the tax of 3% across the board is somewhat regressive and oppressive. And here's why. I believe, I grew up in Chumaka, Clavantil. I don't believe that a person in Chumaka, Clavantil with a 2x4 shack should be paying the same 3% as Prime Minister Rowley, for example. Right? Yes, people say, well, it's the same 3%. But I think, there should be like a scale because, for example, I don't pay the same tax as my next door neighbor. My next door neighbor don't pay the same tax as my next door neighbor. Right? We all have, well, it's not based on percentage, but we all have different percentage. And I just feel that a 3% across the board, all right, is not, it's regressive and oppressive. But not only that, Dr. Sagewan, I think also, right, if you have a parlor at the bottom of your house, as an example, that is considered to be a commercial property, and that's taxed not as a residential value, but as a commercial property, and that's 5% tax. So you are making things do. You now have to pay a 3% property tax, And when they're going to decide to tax commercial property, you're going to have to pay a 5% property tax. That's why I say it's regressive and oppressive. And they actually should have started with commercial property, in my estimation. What says you?
I agree with that. I agree. But although commercial will also tell you they have been suffering and they've been paining over COVID and all these things. But I mean, in your case, your 3% or less than 2%, is it calculated the same way on the rental value with all that discounting, or is it on?
It's based on assessed value.
That's it. So it's different, right? So the yours, it's totally different. That's what I remember. Was this only on the rental?
Right. Up the islands, it's based on residential value.
That's what I'm saying. So the 1% of residential value could possibly equate or could possibly be more than the 3% of rental value, discounted by 10%, etc. Could potentially. So, but I hear you in terms of the and I think I've just sought to make that point. I use Valsign, but yeah, we can use anywhere. We could use the village now. Did you remember the demographics of Trinidad and Tobago has changed significantly? You could be in a village, a little village, and one man have a mansion and it's sitting next to somebody with a tiny little house. So the devil is in the detail in terms of how you actually are you going to go house to house, like you say, you're paying different to your neighbor and your neighbor's paying different to the next one because they have a clear basis. Is the value of your property, and they work up a percentage on that.
But putting the minimum rental value at $3,000 per month, that may be a little bit off also, because if you have a little CKD, how could you rent that for $3,000 a month? To whom?
Exactly, but I think that there is some mechanism for people who fall below that. I think not to be taxed, or the government will pay the taxes, something like that. If my memory serves me, I mean, I didn't come prepared to talk property tax tonight, so I don't want to tell you things out of school, but I think there is some, we're really good at social programs. I think there's a social safety net built into this for persons at a particular level. I can't tell you it off the top of my head, but I think there is. But again, it is two. The issue is the detail in terms of really how fair your calculations are, and the second is timing. I think the timing is really bad. If you want to tax people's property, and the third issue is I'm not sure that money that I'm paying is going to benefit my home because of where you're putting the money. So to me, those three issues are issues, and we've talked about it in the public space, until we have gone, sore in the throat, but it has really had no impact. Government is moving ahead. As they say, the Minister of Finance keeps slapping things upon us, and we ain't strike yet, or we ain't strike. We ain't march.
Yeah, you didn't come to talk about property tax, right? But we want to go back to crime real quickly because I have a question for you.
Yeah.
But Dr. Sagewan, I got to be honest with you. We here at this radio program, WZYE 95.9 FM, have been fighting for people on property tax in Trinidad and Tobago, and they have told us to stay out of Trinidad and Tobago business. We don't live there, even though we are citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Many people have told us they don't want to hear us because we don't live there, right? And we should be talking about Trump and Biden and what's going on in America.
But many of us have properties there.
And family, I mean, you would imagine.
Correct.
Who have property.
And family.
Yeah, absolutely.
And family. So we care deeply about Trinidad and Tobago. And when we heard in Trinidad and Tobago that the Minister of Finance said this in the Parliament, that the property tax was 2.7%. And I kept telling people, no, the law says it's 3%. They were telling me that's why they were telling me stay in Trinidad and Tobago. And yesterday, was it yesterday? Or 2 days ago, I heard the Prime Minister said the property tax is 3%. So I felt vindicated that the 2.7% was somewhat misleading. But I want to go back to crime quickly, Dr. Sagewan. We hear a calypso from Corinne Ashe that poverty is no excuse for crime. Is poverty and crime linked, or they are not linked?
Well, I mean, there is a lot of data to support that there is a link between poverty and crime. In Trinidad and Tobago, though, I think the nature of our crime is it's way beyond the issue of poverty. We have imported criminal activity in this country. It's the style of criminality that has come from other parts of the world, not so far away from us, is now here with us. So that's not our poverty, right? But I mean, certainly, as we all know, the godfathers of crime prey on the vulnerable. And the vulnerable tends to be those who can't afford to buy the kinds of shoes they may want to wear or the kind of jewelry they want to wear. And these people prey on that and say, listen, if you do this to me, you can have that. So unfortunately, the country, our policies, we're failing a large segment of our youth. Every year we celebrate the minority that pass for the prestige schools and pass for their first choice. And we forget those who are left behind. We forget those who fail in the high school system and become high school dropouts. And we don't do enough to ensure that we take responsibility for them and create opportunities for them. And in that instance, crime becomes an alternative. I mean, let's go back to the coup and the young men who were part of that. It was a sense of, it was an individual and an organization that preyed on the vulnerable in the society and gave them what they felt was a home, and used that in order to create a weapon that was used to basically hold a coup in the country. So we can't run and hide from that. Poverty is something that is going to lend itself to criminal activity, but we have to address that issue. We have to create sustainable opportunities for people. And I come back, $1.3 million in a country that has seen billions and billions of US dollars. We should have done better. And we have failed to have done better.
I also have said that it would be nice if in the 41 constituencies we have recreation department, because in each one of these communities here in New Jersey, where I live, where Tommy lives, we have recreation departments. And recreation departments involve sports and academics 7 days a week. There's different things going on. During the winter time, there is certain type of sports. During the summertime, there's a different type of sports. The schools' gyms are utilized for indoor sports, whether it's basketball, volleyball. Sometimes they even play baseball indoors. They play soccer. There is activities going on 7 days of the week. And in
all
my
year round.
estimation, yeah, Tommy?
All year round.
All year round. In my estimation, recreation departments in these 41 constituencies, can then keep much of these young kids busy doing things, whether it's with academics or athletics. What says you?
I totally agree with you. I could tell you, share this when my son was in primary school. He got into marble pitching, and he and his friends would pitch marble. I never bought him one, and he'd come home with his pockets full because he apparently was good at the sport. And the principal actually banned it. He banned the playing of marble. And I mean, I grew up in primary school. We used to do that. And when I went to him and I say, why did you do that? He says, oh no, because they fight and it causes conflict. And when this one take that, I said, but this is a sport that allows these children to learn important skills. It allows them to learn how to work together as teams. It allows them how to accept win gracefully. Teaches them how to accept loss also gracefully. It can teach you so many things. But in school they said no, they were banning it. And academic and passing exam is the priority in our education system. We need to overhaul. I mean, that's a conversation in itself. We need to overhaul our entire education system because it is failing us, and particularly it is failing young men. You know, women, we're more, you know, we're more inclined to sit down and do the work and do the studying and but not so men. It doesn't lend itself to their personalities. And again, the system is simply failing them. So yes, you are correct. We do not have sufficient sporting activity built into the actual curriculum of our
Correct.
schooling system. Absolutely.
I mean, my son attended boarding school, and sport is built into the curriculum. You know, you have to do some type of sport.
Correct.
It doesn't matter, male or female. You had to do some type of sport built into the curriculum, and it made a significant.
If you're a parent, I mean, sports, for your child to be involved in sports, it's an extracurricular thing that you as a parent have to have them in. And if a teacher, or coming down to exams now, if they hear you still allowing your son to play football while he's preparing for exam, they think you're crazy. Because no, that's a distraction. You gotta stop that. You gotta just focus on the exams. And they miss the whole thing about how valuable that sport is to him, having the frame of mind to go to do the studying, to allowing him to vent his frustration. Yeah. There's a lot that needs to be changed.
Yeah, and Dr. Sagewan, in my estimation, these are some easy fixes. You know, I don't think these are things that are very, very difficult. You know, and we spend so much money doing so many other things that has really not contributed any success. You know, to moving the country forward and you know, stemming the tide of crime in Trinidad and Tobago. I mean, it's about time they try something different.
You know, I would say we probably have lost about 2 generations to crime, to that whole element, and I don't know how we pulling this back is not an easy task. It is a very, very difficult task. You know, we live in a country now where there's no value for life. It's collateral damage. There's nowhere you can be in this country and feel a sense of safety, because you can be anywhere and you could simply become that victim, because that's how pervasive it is.
You know what's sad, Dr. Sagewan? I never felt I would say this, and I'll be very honest with you, and I've been telling people this. At one point in time, it was scary to live in Brooklyn or New York. It was very scary. And most people have told you that, listen, I'd rather be in Trinidad and Tobago than to be in New York. I think today, if you ask many of those residents of Brooklyn, Bronx, different parts of Brooklyn, Caribbean, Trinbagonian citizens, if they feel safer in those communities or in Trinidad and Tobago, I think many of them will say, I feel safer in Brooklyn.
Well, that's a fact. You don't have to think it. It is the truth.
That's a
I
fact.
mean, it is an absolute fact, yes.
That's a sad fact, because us living in this country, we want to come to Trinidad and be safe, feel safe.
Yeah. And that's why I said to you, the number one priority has to be to fix it. If we don't fix it, the cost is extremely high. You know,
but
gentlemen,
Dr. Sagewan, but we're not seeing any type of policies to fix it. We're not seeing, every day we're seeing something more brutal happen than the day before.
You know, I say this: policy is only as good as the paper it is written on. We beyond policy, we need action. We need action to deal with this problem, and that's what we don't have. Nobody's taking responsibility. Everybody's just passing the buck, you know. And unless we take responsibility, those who lead us take responsibility, unless it starts to make them lose sleep at night. And I don't think it's doing that, because they're protected. They have their security, you know, forces or what guards around them, they're fine. It is, they are not even just the average citizen, because crime is it does not discriminate. It has touched every level in this country. It has touched every level. I don't think there's a level it has not touched. So I'm really not sure what it is. But gentlemen, I committed 45 minutes. We're now 9:37. It's been fun. It's been really enjoyable. But I need to beg off. I have a presentation that I'm working on that I.
Okay, that's okay, Dr. Sagewan. We really appreciate you taking the time to come in.
Well,
And we
well,
thank you
thank you.
for
Sure.
joining us. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very
Welcome.
much.
Happy to do it another time when if you all are so
But that's okay.
inclined. Yeah.
Don't worry. I'll send you another message sometime in the future again. Don't worry.
I'm sure. I hope I have been able to I hope I've been able to add value to the conversation. I hope I've been able to provide better understanding for your listeners or viewership. And until next time.
Thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay.
Blessings.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
So there you have it, folks.
Yep, there it is.
There it is. I mean, another discussion. Tommy, I was kind of surprised at some of the answers. I'll be honest with you.
Me too.
I was surprised that, well, not fully surprised, but someone surprised I didn't get a little more pushback with respect to living in Brooklyn, New York, Bronx, and feeling safer in Brooklyn than in Trinidad and Tobago. I was kind of surprised about that. I was kind of surprised that the idea of about the 41 recreation department and 41 constituencies, so far, Tommy, we haven't had any disagreements yet with anyone when we make that suggestion.
Absolutely.
So, and these people are well, and I'm making up this word, learned. Learned, right, Tommy?
Yep, well learned.
And here are these people saying, yes, that is a great idea, right? But as she said, though, they don't have the political will.
True.
That's what's important, the political will, the political testicular fortitude to do it. Yeah? But Dr. Sagewan gave us a lot of information. And that's what we tried, right? So we talked about foreign direct investment inflows and outflows, right? We talked about GDP. So the idea here, Tommy, is to just, Tommy, not once during the discussion we said anything about PNM and UNC.
So true.
Oh boy. And if I didn't just say this, say that, we would have gone through this whole discussion without saying anything about PNM and UNC. Yeah? No, Caribbean Soul, you are correct. She has a wealth of information. Hailey says, moving forward, you don't have to rid the country of the devil. How are you going to do that, Hailey? How are you going to get rid of the devil?
The only way God's work and presence would be meaningful is if there is a devil. Without the devil, God is not going to be mattering to most people. Yin and yang.
Captain Singh say, ride the death off. Oh, God. Oh, Captain Singh, boy. Capitan.
Yes.
They say we will get like Haiti, but some communities have been living a life of Haiti. Tommy, you and I, Tommy, you remember when I saw you was in the chat. Darren Red, welcome. Captain Singh, welcome. I saw Trinidad Margo, welcome. I saw what is the name again, boy? Albert Montano. Yes.
Yes.
I saw Albert Montano in the chat. You remember when Albert Montano used to say he think Trinidad you could get like Haiti?
Yep.
And you remember when we used to go after him for that? Well, I used to go after him. Remember that?
Yeah, because we believe Trinidad cannot get like Haiti. We still do.
Yes, absolutely.
Because Haiti.
But Tommy, I'm starting to wonder, man.
No.
Seriously, I started.
Trinidad Prime Minister wouldn't be in the predicament Haiti's Prime Minister has ever been in.
Tommy, but we sliding down, but we sliding down, but we sliding, boy. We going lower and lower and lower, boy. The end doesn't seem to be near, Tommy. The end doesn't seem to be near. Oh, you know, I wanted to ask about a favorite subject, you know. So Tommy, I wanted to listen to this. This was a fella on TC and Heavy program. I want you to listen to this.
One of the most comical things I've ever heard. You guys need to listen to this all the way to the end. You'll thank me later. Take a look at this video, guys.
Well, your first question was if any PNM person to call and say what they have a problem with this government. I have one. I have a problem with the 4% that was given, but I understand why the 4% was given. So
but then you don't have a problem?
You can't say that heavy.
Listen to me. If you have a problem with something and then they make an excuse for that, they don't have a problem?
Heavy, you just talk. Heavy, you board, boy. Heavy, you can have a problem with something, but then what can you do? There's nothing that you could do. So I'll say again. What, Heavy, I have a problem with 4%. What could I do? Let me hear.
Say you have a problem with 4% and you don't like the PNM for doing that and you could vote them out.
No, that is too much. That's not making sense.
How that not making sense? You get 4% and that's hurting your pocket and you don't want to vote to change that aspect?
You want to tell you why it's not making sense?
What the hell I hear?
The government clearly stated, listen to me.
Right.
The government clearly stated that they was not in a position to give us more than 4%. However,
and you believe that? And you believe that?
Listen now.
And just now, but how they could give themselves to the 3% that they're asking? You're in a position now. You're in a position now to give themselves to the 3%?
TC, listen to me. You will be misleading people. The government never give themselves anything. The government never give themselves anything.
So who gave them it? Oh God!
Nobody never received anything. It's a proposal.
Oh God! Oh, it's a proposal. Now, who proposed it? Who proposed it? Who proposed it?
The SRC.
And who has the SRC? Who has the SRC?
The president.
And who are the president?
What you see?
Who are the president? Oh God! Oh. Because you know why you want to give we fall to two and we ducking. Come off the video. Come off the video.
And this right here is the problem that we have in Trinidad and Tobago. It's called tribal politics. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below.
It's duck egg. Oh Lord.
You can be fall to two and say it's duck egg.
It's duck egg.
And I told me that's like you gave me a snake and tell me it's a pet worm.
Right? No, fix it to line.
Tommy, what it is, boy?
Fanaticism. I'm trying to find it with sycophant behavior.
Boy, I don't know, boy. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know what to say, Tommy. But Tommy, the government reject the salary increase. You know that, right? Well,
the 33%?
They reject it. Yeah. Just send it back to them for them to make some adjustments. Listen.
Good for them.
A proposal for salary increases for the president, prime minister, opposition leader, as well as other senior state officials has been shelved pending a review.
The 117th report of the SRC is unacceptable because of the serious and inexplicable anomalies that have emerged in the recommendations in the report.
On Wednesday, Finance Minister Comimbet took aim at the Salaries Review Commission and targeted irregularities with its report. Only just weeks prior, the minister laid the commission's findings in Parliament, which recommended a more than 30% salary hike for various office holders. At the time, there was public debate over the timeliness for the pay increases, with several unions calling for them to receive the same 4% increase as public servants. Imbert contended that following consideration, there were views that the report was flawed.
In some instances, the recommendations appear to be irrational on the face of it. It appears that the foreign consultants employed by the SRC were not au courant with the full range of the duties, responsibilities, challenges, decision-making, and impact in Trinidad and Tobago of several persons under the purview of the SRC. In some cases, there was insufficient consultation with stakeholders.
Among those pointing to the report's shortfall was the Chief Justice, who, in a letter to the Prime Minister, pointed to several issues, including
our consideration of the 117th SRC report reveals that the report is A, opaque in its methodology, B, replete with internal inconsistencies, C, devoid of justifications for its recommendations for the higher judiciary and other judicial offices, D, premised on flawed, misleading, and in some cases plainly wrong assumptions.
The Finance Minister said it is necessary to alert the Commission to the list of inconsistencies and that a revised report be prepared. Imbert, however, noted that if within 2 months the anomalies still existed in the revised recommendations of the SRC, the Cabinet will make appropriate adjustments to the recommendations. Jesse Ramdale, CNC3 News.
Tommy, I don't know. Let's take this. COP. Yeah. COP, how are you going?
Wall Street, good night to you, Wall Street.
Good night to you.
And good night to you, Uncle Tony.
Good night to you.
I didn't get the opportunity to listen to the whole program. But I taken in the end. You know, today is the old man birthday.
Happy birthday to him.
Sagewan Ali a little bit. I want to rate the program 10 out of 10. And I want to let you know that I see the professional part of the program. Every time you come on, you have some politicians or some role model, don't put it this way, some role model on your program. I that give us some knowledge, the citizens of this country. I applaud you for that part of the program. 10 out of 10. But you know that clip where you play? You know that is somebody who rather suffer in silence and say nothing. What they could do, they give them 4% and you want 33%, and the citizens of this country must know it's only because the opposition object to that raise this and expose the fraud it have in it. That is why Imbert come out and read that in Parliament, because if it wasn't for the UNC, they go through that and take that money and watch the citizens get 4% and cry. And that is a fact. That is a fact, Wall Street. I wish I would have liked to see, you know, the radio station that I like mostly, 91.9. I would have liked to see them talk shows. And Wall Street, you know, do radio program on your own. And you run past all of them in. Yes, I give you 10 out of 10 and I give them 2 and 3 because they're not doing what you're doing. You talking and educating and they're not doing that. They're not doing that. So I want to tell Iowa George one time because I know you listen to the professional program and them. Try and do better than that and let them programs and them be like our Wall Street program and them going. Because the citizens will learn something. We will benefit. We will benefit from programs like this. The future of this country will benefit from programs like this. Uncle Tony?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Uncle Tony, much Uncle Tony. When I talk to Uncle Tony, they stay quiet. He they say, let the bully talk. Let the bully talk.
I wouldn't call you that. You are not that.
Hey, COP, let me say this, sir. I will tell you this, sir. We appreciate your contribution. You understand, boy? Seriously, from the bottom of our heart. We
And I
appreciate
do. Trust me, I do too.
Yeah, and we that's why they don't COP. We just give people time to talk. All you come and talk. We ain't cutting all you off after 2 minutes. You can make a contribution in 2 minutes and you gotta call back 5 and 6 times. Call one time, take 7 to 8 minutes, make your contribution, and then you go back and you listen. And if you want to call back after, call back again. That's the way it's supposed to be. You cannot give your thoughts in 2 minutes. You just can't. You understand? That's why we different. We originate, we don't imitate. You understand?
And also pay attention to Heavy and them program this evening, right? And Wall Street, they do a poll for people who want to come out and march and thing. And it's the first time in a long while I hear 91.9, they get at least 70-something new callers. If them other programs and them had to do a poll, they get 11 callers. 11 callers calling over and over and over and over. I say, wow, TC and Heavy program, it growing. It growing, that it is a program that growing and we're very proud of it. You see, that is how we proud of this program. It's program like these and Heavy and them program. The free future of this country will benefit from, because we just won't get political hypocrisy. We will get news and current affairs. And that's what the future of this country wants. Let me say good night to KFC. KFC, we're back in name KFC. So we're giving them KFC. And let me say good night to Kingsley, and although this guy from the front, this guy play a extempo. Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can get an extempo and play it. Look like Iowa George tell TC and them don't play that, because all of a sudden I hear it again. So if you can give it on the radio station and your program, we will like that. And tell Iowa George, leave the song like it play.
I'm going to play it now.
All right. Wall Street, have a good evening.
Yeah, man. Bless. Let me play Brooklyn extempo. Brooklyn all of a sudden, Brooklyn think he's an extempo king.
Getting popular.
I don't know. I don't know. I think that's just a tempo, though, you know. Tommy.
It had an X in it.
I think that's just a tempo.
Nadia, my darling.
Look. You see I put Nadia thing up there for you?
Nadia, my darling, I miss you dearly. I'm glad you're home in the village.
You know how long you're fighting for your Nadia, boy? Oh God, Nadia. You break Tommy heart, Nadia.
I miss her when she's not there.
Nadia, you break Tommy heart. Hey, which one of these things is Brooklyn now, boy? I'm trying to get this extempo here from Brooklyn. Let me try this one here. This might be the one. Brooklyn. Yeah. Here's introducing Brooklyn extempo.
White tempo. It's white tempo.
Yeah, Brooklyn tempo. This is Brooklyn tempo. Listen to Brooklyn tempo, all you. Listen.
Lord, no, I'm tired of voting for you, them is to vote for nothing. My mother tell me I had to vote. If I don't vote, she go bust me throat. Then I vote for anti-cam. Under she, I was eating ham. I went and vote for ball and keep Christy for only. Now my pocket empty. Laba die. Lavanda die. We had to stop being red till we dead. Some of we children done lost their head. Shooting and killing every day. Look how their life just gone astray. Whilst PNM empty the treasury, 26% are we hungry. Election coming next year, they're knocking.
KFC. You stop broken tempo. You stop broken tempo, man. KFC.
You gotta get the X-Man, boy.
Yeah, you stop the man tempo.
It's nice, it's nice. You come next tempo with Gypsy. I forgot to call my dog Tunji, my brother Tunji. I'm wish him happy birthday. Tunji, happy birthday, boy. More life and 10 strength, boy.
But is his birthday or your father's birthday? You say is his birthday?
I think today is you strong. Not today, your father.
What sign is that? That's Aries. That's Aries,
Yeah.
Tommy.
Pisces.
Or Pisces, okay.
Pisces, yeah. I was taking all part of the campaign, the PNM side of the campaign, boy.
Oh, they have a meeting tonight too? They have a meeting tonight?
Yeah. Yeah, they have a meeting right now, going right now. The Prime Minister talking right now, but I listen to Foster comments. They started laying out all the programs where they have.
Hey, KFC, I hear something about that. Something about Foster and the next leader of the PNM. I hear something, so I know through this.
He's something like former boss, something like Patrick Manning.
Something like yeah, but he tuning up, boy. he tuning up.
You feel you gonna be the leader for the PNM?
I don't know, like he tuning up. I don't know.
Yeah, because Doctor are looking to go home now. You can go home now, you know.
You feel so?
After the start of the campaign, like yeah, I feel like you can do a stop election, man.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe it's what I tell you that.
Yeah, man.
Well, one shoot, I'll look to the side of the program. Uncle Tommy, have a blessed night in the cold.
You too, brother. You enjoy your warmth.
Yeah, man. Let me finish the next tempo. I'm gonna go back a little bit. I near Mr. Florida tonight, man. What is that one?
I said no PNM. Or you can knock on my door. No. I don't know him come in my yard. I will send the dog behind on you.
Tommy, you think you should get round of applause?
Oh, God. Oh, Lord. Oh,
Right?
yeah. Oh, yeah. Give him a round of applause.
All right, Brooklyn. You get a round of applause, all right?
So, Walls, you think FC is going to be the next PNM leader?
Yeah, but Tommy, before hold on, all right, we go get that one on Sunday. We have I put out a video today that somebody whispered to me too.
Mm-hmm.
There are plenty of people that whisper in my ears. Because I have a partner, Tommy.
The doctor from
Yeah. Well, let me go for the break and come right back, Tommy. Let me go play that one. Folks, we're going to go for a quick break. It's In the Village with Uncle Tommy and Professor Wall Street on WZYE 95.9 FM. We want to welcome back Nadia. Nadia, you have been sorely missed by Uncle Tommy. It's been 3 months now. He's been asking for you. 3 months he missed you. A whole quarter, Nadia. Every single day, Tommy coming. Women,
Nadia, every day I'm looking around the corner. I'm looking everywhere. No Nadia to be found.
You look at every nook and cranny, Nadia. You look all around the corner.
I miss you blind.
He look in the chimney. He look under the couch. He even look in the fall cupboard and all, Nadia, because he thought you went outside. He was
I'm
lost.
so glad you're not so busy anymore.
You know he's back, Nadia. You have him back now. You perk up. As soon as you come in, Nadia, 2 years stand up on his head. Just 2 years.
Oh, goodness.
as Nadia, as you come in there, two Nadia, two of them here stand up on the head, Nadia.
And my head my head got the shine back.
Boy, 2 years stand up and you get the shine back. Stick and stay. We'll be right back.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE LP 95.9 FM. The most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey. The most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
So, Tommy, we're back with you. Tommy, this happened in the parliament. I think yesterday.
Prime Minister, could you confirm whether or not the Strategic Services Agency has been undertaking surveillance and intelligence gathering on 2 senior cabinet ministers in this country that led to the dismissal of the head of the SSA?
That question is out of order in accordance with the standing orders.
So, Speaker shut him down.
Speaker shut him down. Yeah, they say he out of order. Oh God, Tommy. Yeah, Tommy, they ain't easy, you know. They're the best.
30 kicks.
Yeah, Tommy.
30 kicks.
Oh, yeah, Nadia. I'm telling you, Nadia. Tommy had 2 strings there. 2 gray hair strings I was saying down there for a long time. As soon as you come back, they pop up straight up, you know, Nadia. Oh God, Nadia, and you only see your first name, you know. You didn't see your last name, and they pop up immediately.
Nadia, hopefully I wouldn't go through this anymore.
Yeah, you can't.
I always say I miss you, blind. You are the consummate village sweetheart.
Yeah, Nadia, you allow Nadia. All of a sudden, Nadia, please stop doing that.
Oh boy.
Nadia, stop it. Oh, let me play this one before we go tonight, Tommy. Let me play this one before we go tonight. Let me go here. All right. I want you all to listen to this. Oh God, all right. Come on, man. This thing does wanna play games with we all of a sudden. Here we go.
Why Dr. Wayne Frederick, former president of Howard University, could be the next PNM leader. The People's National Movement, PNM, is the oldest and most dominant political party in Trinidad and Tobago, having led the country to independence, republicanism, and social and economic development. However, the party has also faced challenges and criticisms, especially in recent years, over issues such as corruption, mismanagement, and lack of transparency. The current leader and Prime Minister, Keith Rowley, has been at the helm of the party since 2010, but he may soon step down as he approaches the end of his second term in office. Who could replace him as the leader of the PNM and the potential Prime Minister of the nation? One possible contender is Dr. Wayne Frederick, a Trinidadian-born scholar, surgeon, and university administrator, who served as the president of Howard University in Washington, D.C. from 2014 to 2023. Dr. Frederick has an impressive academic and professional background, having earned his bachelor's, medical, and business degrees from Howard University, and completed his postdoctoral research and surgical oncology fellowships at the University of Texas MD Anderson Cancer Center. He has also authored numerous research publications and editorials, and received various awards and honors for his contributions to medicine, education, and leadership. Dr. Frederick has also demonstrated a strong commitment to his homeland, maintaining close ties with the Trinidad and Tobago diaspora, and supporting various initiatives and projects to benefit the country. For instance, he helped to establish a partnership between Howard University and the University of the West Indies to facilitate academic exchange and collaboration. He also donated medical equipment and supplies to the Port of Spain General Hospital, and offered scholarships and internships to Trinidadian students. Dr. Frederick's vision and values align well with the PNM's ideology of liberalism, social liberalism, and nationalism. He has advocated for social justice, equity, and inclusion, especially for marginalized and underrepresented groups. He has also promoted innovation, entrepreneurship, and sustainability, as well as regional and international cooperation. Frederick could bring a fresh perspective and a new energy to the PNM, as well as appeal to a wide and diverse electorate. He could leverage his experience and expertise to address the challenges and opportunities facing Trinidad and Tobago, such as the COVID-19 pandemic, the economic recovery, the diversification of the energy sector, the improvement of the health and education systems, and the strengthening of the democracy and governance. He could also enhance the PNM's image and reputation, both locally and globally, by demonstrating integrity, accountability, and transparency. Of course, Dr. Frederick is not the only potential candidate for the PNM leadership, and he may face competition and opposition from within and outside the party. He may also have to overcome some barriers and biases, such as his lack of political experience, his foreign residence, and his health condition. He was diagnosed with sickle cell disease at birth. However, these challenges should not deter him from pursuing his aspirations, nor should they diminish his qualifications and achievements. Dr. Wayne Frederick has proven himself to be a successful and respected leader in his field, and he could be an equally effective and inspiring leader for the PNM and the country. He has the potential to continue the legacy of the PNM's founding father, Eric Williams, who was also a scholar, a visionary, and a patriot. He could be the next PNM leader.
There you go, Tommy.
Well,
What says you?
it's left to be seen.
Let me play this quick voice note here.
Wall Street, Dr. Rowley looked like he want to push Sharon Rowley to be the leader of the PNM. You see she resigned. He boasting she resigned. I feel he want to put Sharon Rowley as leader of the PNM.
Kunji. Kunji, put on that glass, eh?
Right? You want to go on a world cruise.
Yeah. Kunji, put on that glass. Kunji, do like I tell you, I just tell Hailey and Mean Gene Julian to put on the glass, right? Kunji, put on that glass. Captain Singh, all right, we are here, Captain Singh. We want an Indian to take over from Rowley after 60 years of African rule of the field. Oh God, Captain Singh. Yeah. Nadia say laughed out loud. Nadia, I know laugh out loud. I tell you. You know?
No, but guess what? Captain Singh know what he's talking about, man. Probably make a difference.
Hey, Tommy didn't have a banker, you know, he had a 4 banker. He had a 4 banker.
I didn't hide it, did I?
Well, no.
I did not hide it.
That's why it couldn't be a 2 banker. It had to be a 4 banker.
I didn't hide it. Yeah. At the bank truck.
Oh God, all that too, man. All right, Nadia pledging. She pledging now, Tommy. She pledging that she back. She pledging. We had to get to Keisha to come back now, and then we had to get on Joan case, and then we had to get on Victoria case. We had to get some cases, you know, Tommy.
Yeah.
We had to get on some cases, man. Definitely. We had to get on Montano case too, because all of a sudden, yeah. We had to get on the case. We go get on some case, man.
You know, it's International Women's Day.
I
think it's tomorrow.
Okay. So, folks.
Is it tomorrow or today? One of these days.
I think it's I ain't sure. I
think it's tomorrow.
Nadia, Captain Singh, Hailey, Eugene Julian, if you're still there, if your wife give you back your phone. Caribbean Soul, Wayne G. Harold boy. Wayne, we missed you, boy. We miss Wayne Harold boy. Wayne, where you joining us from? Wayne boy. Wayne, we missed that, sorry. Patricia, I think it's safer to live in Brooklyn and in Trinidad because the cops in New York solve the crimes faster there. Whereas in Trinidad, they don't find the criminals. Correct? Oh God, you shouldn't be laughing at that doing. I know laughing matter doing.
It's not a laughing matter, but it's
That's serious.
yeah, it's serious.
Patricia put closing comments. Wayne, if you're still there, put closing comments. Albert Montano. Bijram, if you're still there. Partner from Tobago. If you're still there, put closing comments in the chat. Yeah. Joan, if you're still there from Brooklyn. Mean Jean. If your wife give you back your phone and you could hear this comment.
Mean Jean. Poor Mean Jean.
Oh God. All right, so folks, my closing comment is a person who is grateful to have you will never put themselves in a position to lose you. A person who is grateful to have you will never put themselves in a position to lose you. From where I sit, this is it. The clock on the wall, so that's all I like to say, but I've got to go. Remember, hard work beats talent. When talent does not work hard, and for every 60 seconds of anger, you lose 1 minute of happiness. And remember, your circumstances may determine who you are, but you are responsible for who you become. Go ahead, Tommy.
First, Nadia, I'm grateful to have you back in the village. Anyways.
Nadia, wait, Tommy. Nadia, look carefully to the right side of Tommy here. You'll see those two.
Anyways, happy International Women's Day to all the women in the chat, especially to you, Nadia. And I'd like to start off by doing this from Michelle Obama. She says, friendship between women, as any woman will tell you, are built of 1,000 small kindnesses, swapped back and forth and over again. Like I always say, you the man in the mirror, you have to become that change you want to see. However, if when you look in that mirror, you don't like what you see, do not blame the mirror. Never look down on a person unless you're giving them a hand up. Love you all. Be safe. Till we meet again. We'll see you on Sunday for Let's Talk Politics. Love you all. Good night.
Thank you, Tommy.
I thank you.
Yeah, and I want to say to Dr. Indera Sagewan, thank you so much for sharing such, I'm going to use Mean Jean closing comment, such fantabulous and splendiferous information, because that's what we're here for. We're here to share information so people can, have a general idea of things going on in Trinidad. We talked about foreign direct investment, inflows, outflows. We talked about debt to GDP. We talked about diversification of the economy. We talked about economics and crime, poverty and crime. We talked about some solutions to the crime problem. So, we want to thank Dr. Indira Sagewan, for taking. First time she appeared in the village, but I could see she's she's one of them village types, Tommy.
She's resourceful, very resourceful.
Yeah. She's a village type. Yeah, she's a village type.
Yep.
I feel Captain Singh has something with Dr. Sagewan. You're only talking about she all night. Walls, Dr. Sagewan talked about losing the best of the best. She was talking about me. You see what I tell you? I tell you, Mean Jean, but where's this? Mean Jean Julian get back your phone, boy. He said closing comments. Another fantabulous, splendiferous interview. Your guest is a scholar. Thank you very much, Mean Jean, boy. It's appreciated, boy. Yeah, man. Yeah, Daryl super sad, boy. One love to all. Yeah, man. Daryl, live on
Same
direct.
to you.
Yeah. So, folks, you could continue to put your closing comments. Nadia says,
Nods. You're missed when you're not here.
Tommy, Captain Singh says. Captain Singh says.
What does he say?
Hold on. We produce them in St. Helena Wars. Where St. Helena is? Caroni?
No, right next to the airport.
Oh, okay.
Well, I guess that's Caroni too. Yeah.
Where that is, Captain? Caroni?
It's Caroni, but we head to the airport.
All right. We're going to go out to the appreciation tonight by Johnny King. How about that? Folks, good night. Take care.
We appreciate all our womankind, and we appreciate you. Happy International Women's Day tomorrow.
Yeah. St. Helena is Caroni East. All right, folks, we out of here. Good night. Oh, God, our next comment just coming. Kylie says, we just can't keep on going on this way. But where we do go from here? Where will information take us? Well, Tom, Hailey, all we could do is give the information, and hopefully, we will see some changes. We outside.
Strive to be happy. Relentless search for luxury. In search of peace and happiness, the human mind wouldn't rest. A constant nag within we soul, demanding respect from the world. We get the urge in different form, but luxury is the norm. Money is very essential, but can't buy peace of mind at all. We still like dogs without a bone, if we have the money alone. Because appreciation plays on the human mind. Everyone needs some for happiness all the time. Because importance, if we are trying to live, everyone's on the hunt. Every man ought to give generously. The feeling has no barrier. Race and class doesn't matter. Once you are alive, you in the game. You do anything to get a good name. Some wealthy men turn to suicide. Can't find food to feed their pride. The aged and crippled in the ring, fight to be like a king. Children become delinquent for lack of love from their parents. That's why appreciation is most important to man. Appreciation plays on the human mind. Everyone needs some for happiness all the time. Because important, if we are trying to live, everyone's on the hunt. Every man ought to give generously. Solution to bad industrial relations. Employees will gladly draw their pay and do the job half the way. When workman feeling unwanted, the working spirit is daunted. He comes on the job and fool around, production going down. Just make him feel significant. You get him do anything you want. A pat on the back is the best move for relations to improve. Because appreciation is on the human mind. Everyone needs some for happiness all the time. Because important, if we are drive to live, everyone's on the hunt. Every man ought to give generously. Our deepest craving is common. All we need is attention to put us in the happy zone, regardless of what we own. Life is lonely without it. Each one should give a little bit. What you want your neighbors do, then life on earth will be true. Take a tip from the scripture. Appreciate one another. Share your love and make the mold for total peace in the world. On the human mind, everyone needs some for happiness all the time. Because important, if we are trying to live, everyone's on the hunt. Every man ought to give generously. Because